Okay. Now, let's see. I want to see if that worked. Control N. It's gonna do it? No. Okay. So go to those things I call content. Switch it from to public. Publish. Okay. The beginning, boys.
What's going on, James? You're like
Oh, I'm trying
nothing's
to.
changed.
No, I'm just starting it up right now.
Let's see.
Streaming software, go. Let's hope this works. Is it gonna go right, boys? Okay. Alright, I think, yep, we got it, boys. I think so. Yep, we got it. Crap,
Sick.
we can
Here,
see
let me. I'm going to be watching your stream just to make sure.
Yeah. I think I wanted
Nothing's
to
going.
open something up just so there's background or like, just changing pictures.
I don't actually I'm trying to say right, but that's fine. Who is Darkside the Rapper?
What?
Who is Darkside the Rapper?
I don't know. Why?
Oh, it's Michaela. Weird. I didn't even know they had
Oh, hold up. Okay, I think I know what you mean now.
here.
Oh
They
yeah, they
have
tried
more
to
subs.
contact me the other day.
James, they have as many subscribers as you and Rev combined. Why do they have so many subscribers?
They play games and I don't know, maybe like put stuff out
They have one
regularly.
video. They have one video, and it's not so trick candles with 2 views.
I
Let's
don't know.
let's
So,
going on there.
I don't know. So, Carl, speaking of IzziLoc, right?
Yeah. Wait.
You,
Okay. So are we live?
yeah, I think, yeah, we are.
Okay.
So, I was writing a short story yesterday, right?
Okay. Wait. No. Hang on. Okay. Okay. Hang on. The audio's coming through. I just wanted to check for a second. Um, I noticed you spelled you spelled IzziLoc technically correct, except you added a weird capitalization there on the
Uh,
L. But whatever. That's fine.
yeah, and Thoughtful Dame, or Thoughtful Dame.
Thoughtful. Wait,
Oh,
who's
so
thought?
close, James.
Wait, who? Yeah,
Oh,
why
so
does it
close.
say thoughtful dame?
Ow.
Because James just don't give a fuck. That's
James doesn't fucking care.
you just don't care.
He doesn't care. It's thoughts of a dame. For anyone
Close
who's
enough,
Stuff of a dame.
It's just
who's
Bark and
wondering.
Brand Thoughts of a Dame.
Yeah, are we gonna do a Minecraft interview, James?
I could probably
Or
open
no?
up Minecrolium.
Or are we gonna do a Darkest Dungeon interview using the new Butcher Circus DLC? Buy now.
Crap. I want to
I
open
am
up
not sponsored. I'm kidding. I am. No, I'm
You,
not.
you,
I wish I
you
was.
cold
God, I wish-
bastard. Crap, I
We're
didn't mean to open
sponsored,
up
that'd be great.
Minecolium.
I'd chill out Darkest Dungeon DLC. Like I have iffy opinions on the DLC going up for Darkest Dungeon, but of all the iffy shit to chill out to, I'll chill out to some Darkest Dungeon. Are you kidding?
Dude, I love the soundtrack, man.
The soundtrack's great. I actually thought that the Colors of Madness soundtrack was like shit, and it's kind of boring at first, but it actually does get pretty good. I
Well, my
suppose.
Darkest
Most,
Dungeon
I don't know.
is
That's
opening, and I don't want to have to open up Task Manager just for that. Minecraft we go.
okay. We can't actually do the Darkest Dungeon Butcher Circus because I don't have it and you don't have it, James.
Well, no, I just like use that as my,
Cost money.
you know, B-roll.
Is your what?
B-roll, Carl. It's just a fancy term for putting
B-roll?
like. It's just
What are
a
you
fancy
talking about? Speak
Carl,
English.
shut up.
I know what he
I'm
means,
telling you.
but
B-roll is just a
What
fancy
is-
little term for putting up,
what?
images, in
The
place,
fuck?
for the video.
Reb, do you know what the fuck James is doing right now?
okay, James is explaining B-roll in the worst way possible. B-roll is in any like movie or like documentary. It's all of that extra footage
No.
that isn't.
No,
Yes, it is.
That's not the B-roll I'm talking about, Reb. It's a different.
Are we also not going to talk
Can
about
you
the fact?
actually let me finish, James? How do you even know what I'm saying?
Can we actually
Okay.
talk about the fact that also James was about? I was silent. I was like, James, what? And he's like, a B-roll is a B-roll. Carl, shut up. A B-roll is.
Yeah.
Even though I was silent.
Okay, anyway, can I finish what I'm saying? Because James, it's the same thing. It's images or like cuts of film that are used as
Yeah, so the
backing
extra
footage
stuff,
for shit when there's nothing going on visually in like a movie or a documentary. Yeah, it's the extra stuff. So why did you cut me off and say you were talking about something different?
Wait,
Why did you cut me off?
No, you're like saying like B-roll is all the extra stuff they put at the end, right?
No, not at the end. No, it can be put at any point during whatever you're doing. It's just the extra. It's like extra film or extra images you.
It seemingly responds to him speaking, even though James is entirely silent.
I don't know, man.
You know,
I need to get something to drink.
The Colors
because-
of Madness DLC for Darkest Dungeon is about time and space being all warped and like fucked up and folding in on itself. Let's hear
What
it.
was like a,
Sure wasn't Kangaroo Jam.
Yeah, I don't get it. What do you?
Ask
I
the
don't-
question so I can hear.
What was it? Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
say
know
say
what
question
you're-
one more time so I can tell Rev.
yeah? What's a fun childhood movie for you?
What's a fun childhood movie for you?
Like a movie that a child that I really love.
Yeah, like just something you loved in your childhood.
Yeah, like that.
Fuck.
Well, Rev's gonna answer it. We still don't have an answer for me though, because I don't get it.
Like I don't know, something
Okay,
you
so,
enjoyed in your childhood.
One of my like favorite movies when I was a kid was the Pound Puppies Legend of Big Paw. That movie was a lot of fun. It was a great and very emotional film, and I loved it. And it was cute, and it had some good songs.
Is that some sort of '90s movie?
Yes, you motherfucker! It's some sort of 90s or 80s movie. I was a child. I was born in the 90s, so my
So,
childhood
hold on,
took primarily place in the 90s.
Well,
What kind of question is that? It's not going to be a 2010 movie. I was an adult then.
well, okay. So
Unless I totally misunderstood the
Sure, what-
question.
what was the plot of said movie?
So, the Pound Puppies were able to speak because of this legendary dog bone, which allowed all animals and humans to be able to communicate. But some dastardly man decided to steal it from the Paw Museum,
I fucking hate, man.
and he was going to try and use it to corrupt and control the puppies and make them do bad, naughty things and be mean. Which is very simplified, but like they were turning them into like these vicious dogs. And there was the legend of Big Paw. Big Paw was this big dog who was like hiding in the woods and stuff because he was too big. And the Pound Puppies find him, and he helps them get the legendary bone back and unbrainwash all the dogs that had been brainwashed through the power of love.
Oh, so it's like the
so
the Pokemon
cute.
movie.
It's nothing. Okay.
James, come to your
So
house.
good.
Wait, no,
You're
James,
really
come back.
oversimplifying.
Look, James, come. Look at the bell.
What about the bell?
But it was a really cute movie.
Come look at the fucking bell,
I see
jackass.
you up there.
I loved that movie. I used to watch it all the time. I watched it so much that my grandpa got permission
Oh no.
from the
No,
video
no,
store
no.
guy because we would rent it from the video store. We would rent it from the video store, and my grandpa was friends with the guy and was like, "Listen, is it okay if I just make her a copy of this tape? I swear we'll rent other movies from you.
Yeah.
We'd like to stop renting this one." And so yeah, they ended up making a videotape copy of that for me.
So Carl, do you get a feel?
Reb, enter Minecraft interview house. Enter Minecraft interview house.
So, I just have a quick. Carl, do you now get a feel for what the answer might be to such a question?
I don't fucking understand the
Did
question.
you never
To
enjoy,
be honest,
like,
I
SpongeBob
didn't
the
really.
movie
I didn't
as a kid, or
I didn't-
like.
fucking watch movies as a kid, James. You know this. Or I did I watched like SpongeBob movie and fucking what's the one dinosaur? When I was
Land Before
5, I
Time.
watched No, not Land Before Time. I fucking hated that. No, when I was
Dinosaur.
5, I watched Dinosaur all the fucking time.
Isn't that the one where they all die?
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
they all fucking
Dinosaur the movie. Where they all died.
died.
You mean history?
No,
James,
Dinosaur
absolute
shit.
Cronenberg.
The movie Dinosaur, like 2000 nothing, because it was like
Yeah, it was literally a movie where it was like
they had to get the water because the water was down and it was cool, but then they died or something.
Oh,
It
okay.
was weird. It was
Well,
fucking horrible.
Super
Like-
Punch.
Everyone in my household felt the same way about that movie that I feel about Catnip.
Oh.
Live action.
Well, it's a good movie.
But,
you know? It's schlock, but I love it.
Don't you realize there's a cock down here, right?
So what?
There's chicken down here. So come look.
No, I don't feel like it.
There's a hen. Just
Oh, by the
look
way,
at
I
the
need to
hen.
help you install that texture pack.
Yeah, I would really like.
He's there.
I would
Oh,
really like.
Carl, you bastard! I knew it was gonna happen.
I thought you would land at the ledge.
Son of a bitch.
I thought you'd land on the dirt, but then your body
What
rebound,
is
like
happening?
recoiled.
I just heard, whoa, Carl.
I punched him off his house. But
knew it was
I
gonna
thought
happen.
the trajectory would send him onto the dirt area, but actually the thing is he hit the block that made the window and he rebounded, he reflected off.
Yeah.
He deflected off and his trajectory was altered in a way that made it not favorable for living.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, James. How many levels were you at?
I think like 48.
I don't think you were at 40. Are you
I can
serious?
talk about more movies I like to
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna watch
Just ask
the
me,
live
I don't know
stream.
what to do.
Yeah, do it. I think it was 48 actually, but it was over 40.
Damn it, there's not a big enough delay on the live. Are you serious?
Yeah.
48? How did you get to fucking
I
48?
killed a lot of chickens.
I don't fucking believe you at all.
Well, you do that. So, Carl,
Well, you do that.
I don't-
So, are we at that one house that was in the air, or where are we?
I don't think there
Yeah.
was one childhood movie I watched more.
Yeah, we're at that one house in the air, that place.
You know, there's like
You just
three movies my
us.
childhood goes to. Yeah, there's obviously Spaceballs the movie, Cat in the Hat, live action,
Isn't this-
and SpongeBob the movie.
I think you should sit there, James. I think it gives a better. Actually, just. Oh, actually, no, because I
Well,
guess.
it's kind of a good view.
No, I think this would give a better view of both
This one you're sitting in, or
participants. No, like one of the side
Oh.
chairs, like the one over there. I think that would.
Pardon me. All right.
Hi.
Like Carl, you know my thing with movies. I watch them a ton of times. Same movie over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, you and your Spaceballs.
I mean, there were a lot of movies that I watched a ton.
James, put that thing away. That's indecent.
Well, they're just my.
I
They're my
watched a lot of
Spaceballs,
the Mary
you know?
Kate and Ashley movies as a kid. I watched trying to think. Oh, there's the one I want Carl to watch, which is, hold on, I can look at the name of it. Because I have it favorited online because I want Carl to watch it with me. Click correctly, damn it. Okay, what is it called? It is called Operation Dalmatian, The Big Adventure. I freaking love that movie. I love that movie.
Dude,
it's a good
I was
movie.
thinking about how I really don't like Disney movies, and I'm like, alright, I think there's at least one I like, and that's Pinocchio. You know.
Fascinating. That makes perfect sense considering that I absolutely hate Pinocchio.
Oh, okay, why do you hate Pinocchio?
I don't like it. I don't like the art style in the movie. I don't really like the story. I find it weird and uncomfortable. I just never liked it.
Don't read the book then.
Oh yeah, no, I know the book is worse. I definitely didn't like the Disney movie.
I don't know, I like dark.
A little bastard boy doesn't behave and is trying to be a real boy, but is too naughty and is a little mischievous, and I don't know. It just was weird. It was weird.
I don't know. I'm just sometimes attracted to dark.
I really liked
matter,
the direct.
So something like Pinocchio is pretty good to me.
I guess I get that. I mean, that makes sense. It is one of the darker movies.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how I also just don't like the Jungle Book. I just don't like it.
Well, I was actually told that
I don't even think there's anything inherently wrong with them. There's something about the entire story and, like, the visuals in it that I just don't care for.
Actually, I think the Jungle Book is, Rudyard Kipling's metaphor for very racist stereotypes, actually. I remember asking about it in class one time, and the teacher reminded me of the monkeys, and pointed out, what Rudyard thought.
Orangutans.
Oh, orangutans, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They weren't monkeys. Just putting that out there as somebody who.
Dude, there was this poor lady at the barber shop yesterday. I made a video on what I talked about last night, but she had to hear me, kind of just talk about like calling Jesus a demigod and his miracle spells.
The things you subject upon other people actually are kind of funny to me because I've been subjected to them already.
Guys, what's the mouse smoothing button on Minecraft?
The mouse moving button? No.
No, the mouse smoothing.
Mouse smoothing?
Yes.
Smooth mouse? What?
Yes, jackass. Am I stuttering?
I don't actually know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The mouse smoothing button, James, you fucking...
There's mice in the game?
He doesn't know what mouth smoothing is.
When you... Oh, wow, mine's literally disabled in the controls. What the fuck? Let's make that F... Let's not make that F4. That
oh,
can
shit,
go
I didn't mean to...
F6.
James, I might have accidentally fucked with all your torches. That was not intentional, and I...
Time to pay.
This, James. The one where, like, it does the cinematic camera, they call it in the controls. Look.
Oh.
Look at the way I'm...
No, I've never...
So, like, I'm gonna do... Look, wait, James, look. I'm gonna move my mouse once, and then I'm gonna stop. Look at. There you go.
You just went a lot slower and a lot less smooth motion to me. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty bad because I have my mouse sensitivity at max right now, so this is kind of like I'm drunk.
I fixed the torches. I fucked up, just so you know.
Drunk.
Oh my god, this is actually making me dizzy. James, you should... Okay, James, do this. Do this. Go into the fucking controls.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a bad... Oh my god, this actually gonna be a headache.
What, like options? Controls.
Yeah. Options and then controls, and then up at the top left there's mouse controls, and then you change your mouse sensitivity to hyperspeed, and then right next to... Actually, no.
Hyperspeed,
Look
then
at all
what?
the orange trees.
Hyperspeed, and then you'll basically...
Oh, just change it to hyperspeed and then start?
Well, yeah, but then you go back into the little control section where it, like, offers the different, like, control options, and then scroll down. And then, obviously, I'm watching it at a bit of a delay, but let me know when you're there.
I'm all the way down now.
Okay, you'll see a thing that says, cinematic camera. You want to bind that to something, I recommend like F6. F6
Okay.
doesn't tend to do fucking anything on anyone's computer anymore.
F6.
Yeah. Personally, I would set that to F6. It's not very easy to accidentally hit. And then,
Whoa,
you
oh
know,
my god.
And then if you go
What?
right,
Yeah.
and then like
I feel
walk around.
I feel like Data from like just jerking his head around.
Like, yeah, but like then walk around and try to look at
Look.
things. And then have you pressed F6?
Yeah, I've already done that.
And it honestly, it's fucking weird because it feels like It feels like a bad fucking animation. It's really bad. I'm actually getting a headache.
I'm gonna get that away from hyperspeed.
Oh my fucking god! Yeah, get rid of the hyperspeed. It'll probably be bearable. It usually is. It's like the camera they use in those shitty like gameplay trailers where
How do I
people
get
look
back
around
up
weird.
there?
Much better.
TP.
Teleport. But there's a door down here with stairs. I could use if I could just find it.
Door down where with stairs?
How do you think James gets up there legitimately?
Cheats?
No.
No, he actually made a stairwell.
Where? I don't even see one up here.
It's off the side of the mountain, and I just can't find it. I mean, there's also this that
No, I mean, where does it lead up to?
Oh, Carl, come here.
It's
I'll show you. It's over here.
right here, Carl.
Wait, I found the stair. Reb, where are you? You don't exist.
I'm at the top. I came
Fucking-
up right behind you, and you didn't look at me at all.
Well, how was I supposed to know you were there?
No.
I
was
can't
like,
hear
hey,
you
I got
in
up.
game.
I said I got here.
Okay, where does it lead, even? Don't kill me, Reb,
I wasn't
please.
trying to kill you. I'm sorry.
You hit me with an enchanted diamond axe that I know has sharpness on it.
I didn't know that would kill you. It just leads down here.
That's
this
fucking
door.
weird, James. That's fucking weird.
Oh, I walked right past it. I got
Ah,
confused. It's right by this
Don't
wall.
hit me. It's my house.
Don't hit me. Don't hit me.
You will face.
It's my house.
Jesus.
What? What is happening?
No, this is my house.
No, James, go out. This is my
Where are you
fucking house.
guys?
This is my house.
This is my house.
Okay, you boys need to stop it.
Oh crap. Well, now nobody leaves. Damn. You son of a bitch.
What am I missing?
What are you doing, James? Stop. James, I will break you. Stop. You are not like any other kind. You are like other kinds of blocks. You are breakable.
I know. Holy, you son of a bitch. I just saw the dirt.
What the fuck? Did he just grief his own house with...
Yeah, he did.
Wait, why are you fixing it? He's the one who has to live here.
Doing it. I don't like it. I just want to fix it.
I'll just put it back. James, you're dealing with the consequences of your own actions.
it's my play.
Wait, I can't even get up. Please.
What? That's not.
Okay.
This is-
Yay!
James, are you beholden to these beds over here?
Huh?
Are you beholden to these beds over here?
Yeah, they're mine.
What does that mean?
Why?
Rob, now I have to give him back his fucking experience again.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but wait, you didn't respawn in the beds, James. That's what I was asking you, numbnuts.
Hold on. I didn't know what you were
Wait.
asking. It's like,
What the fuck?
dude, it's like I just came to the United States 5 seconds ago, and you're asking me to, write a dissertation in English.
Why were you not set to the beds in your own house? Where were you set?
Yeah, where are you set to? That's exactly what I'm trying to ask here, you gosh forsaken.
It's my rich island house.
House.
He does have an island house. James, just enter survival. I literally TP'd you to me. Hey, Reb, give him back his items.
Okay, I'm trying to. I didn't mean to take them. Here,
This is a shit show, guys.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what items are yours. I know what items are mine. Here, have all these eggs. Eggs, man. I don't want them.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be awful for the bit, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
Look, James. Maybe you should hook up to a bed. Here.
Yeah. Okay. Sleep.
Wait, James. Did you have a bunch of sugar on you?
Yes.
I don't think this is my sugar. There you go.
Sleep. Alright.
You're good. Once you do that, it will just fed to you.
Yeah, welcome to the shit show. So I wanted to talk about...
As a slightly older child, I was... Oh.
What?
I was gonna say, as a slightly older child, I was a big fan of the movie Labyrinth.
Yeah, I think I know your relationship with Labyrinth.
Why did you say it like that?
David Bowie's packing more heat than Miami in that movie.
What is packing more heat than Miami?
It's a reference to Miami Heat, I think, which I think is was a show.
No, Miami Heat is the basketball team there.
Oh, it's the okay.
No, the show is Miami Vice.
Why was it?
That's probably what you're thinking of.
Oh, I'm confusing Miami Heat with Miami Vice. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, I probably was a little bit into what was going on there, but I was also in 4th grade, so I didn't understand what a sexual awakening was, so give me a fucking break. I'm only human.
I know there's some...
At least my sexual awakening wasn't fucking Lion King. Give me a...
Oh boy, that sounds...
Whose was that?
Oh, lots of people's. Especially Lion King 2. Kovu was hot.
What?
A lot of people thought Kovu was hot.
Who's Kovu?
Kovu is Kiara's mate. Kiara is the Lion King's daughter.
Who's Kovu? You only described what Kiara is.
Kiara is, I guess he was like the son of Scar.
Oh, it was that guy?
Yeah, he was the darker looking lion. He was like he had like the darker features.
And Kovu was the chick?
No, Kovu is the one with the darker features.
Oh, you said Kiara was... You dead ass just now said Kiara was Scar's son.
Okay, yeah. I guess I got confused there. No, Kiara is the daughter of the Lion King, and then Kovu is, I guess, the daughter, the son of Scar.
Yeah.
I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
Part of Scar's like pack. Yeah, a lot of people were really into Kovu.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it was a problem of just they
They really didn't. I'm looking at this right now, and it's just Lion King.
Yeah.
It just looks like a Lion King lion.
It is, and a lot of people were attracted to him.
Yeah.
What do you want? Furries, they exist.
Yeah, but when I say anything about furries, everyone's like, "Wow, that's the weirdest thing." Like,
I'm not acting like it's the most normal thing. But like,
I mean, but when I say things about like Zootopia, you're like, "Well, that's too far."
To be fair, I think it is.
Is it? They're
also,
both kids' movies.
They are both kids' movies, but you're an adult now, and I'm talking about experiences.
I'm saying, okay. So So do we have it on record as saying that you think that when people who watch Zootopia as a kid grow up, they will not none of them?
Oh, I never said that. I just think
I
think adults sexualizing a children's movie is a problem. Children who find themselves attracted to characters in children's movie, that's like a different issue. But like, it's not the same.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What?
Because like adults who sexualize children's movies drop porn about it and then like post it in areas that lots of children can access, or like.
Well, I feel like if children are accessing Rule34 Pahil.net, I think that's a different conversation we
Well,
need to
that's
have.
not. They don't even do that. Like little kids can literally just Google My Little Pony and there's porn.
Well, don't let kids Google anything. Google's a disaster. There's a reason I used to find most of my porn on Google Images.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I hear what you're saying, but like, at the same time, it's like, well, Google is a search engine. It's designed to help find things. Kids are going to be using it for shit on like school and stuff. You can't really just disable Google.
I agree, but it's cursed.
Well, yeah, it's cursed, but
Google
I mean, to be
Images
fair,
is
I think
cursed.
people should be more discreet when it comes to sexualizing kids shows. That's all I'm really saying.
Yeah, I guess.
I have to say, I really like the snow effect in this texture pack because it's very subtle.
Yeah. So there was this short story I wanted to talk about.
It actually,
ages ago,
the
right?
further away it is, the more you see it. Like, look, I look off the mountain and I can see like at a distance. But I do like it because it doesn't block my view as much. It's not as intensely in my view.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I wish you could see this texture pack, James. It's actually really nice.
Yeah.
It's very simple, very sleek.
So, Reb,
yes.
I wanted to talk about this one short story. It's just a minor bit of it, but
Okay.
I wrote something yesterday. It's shorter than what I usually do, just because I feel like, how do I continue that? And it's basically us, right? And
Us as in
you, me, and Carl. Although it's called Sally McKnight, which I wanted to look up because that's the name of one of the Hex Girls, and that's the name used for you, Reb. Yeah, and then Carl's just
which Hex girl did you compare me to by naming me that?
I just went for the lead singer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, the lead singer, the girl in red. Okay, that's fine. She's hot.
Yeah, and then I just called. I think I remember something.
I didn't want to be Bubbles Gone Goth. That's all the only one I didn't want to be. The one who has the blonde pigtails and looks like Bubbles the Powerpuff Girl, but like gone horribly goth and not in like I don't know. She always looked weird to me.
I don't know. She just doesn't look like she looks weird. Yeah, I agree. But no.
Yeah.
And then Carl's just Elizabeth. No.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Wait, what am I?
Your name's just
I
Elizabeth.
wonder why.
Wait, I got a little.
Your character that represents you in this short story James wrote is named Elizabeth.
Oh, I thought it was basing off of K-pop.
K-pop? Why K-pop?
You said some. I don't know. What do you like?
The
Bubbles?
Hex Girls. They're from Scooby-Doo.
I don't know what that is. I've never heard of the fucking Hex Girl, so I thought it was K-pop. You're both weebs.
What?
They're both fucking weebs. I thought it was K-pop.
Carl, I'm a man of culture, not degenerate.
Yeah, well, no.
You don't want to say that on a podcast. Do not imply that K-pop fans are not cultured. You'll just never win.
Well, guess what?
Oof,
People who like girls who like K-pop, same thing as guys like Belle Delphine. Change my fucking mind.
It's very.
I mean, what about girls like
I don't think
me
K-pop
like
sell
K-pop?
bathwater.
Wait a minute. The other
You
thing
think
is,
they wouldn't make a killing if they didn't?
you can wait a minute, hold on. You can like K-pop without being like this crazy obsessed like person who like is like, oh my god, Bangtan boys. Like I like K-pop. I like a lot of K-pop.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Hold up.
They're like, there's a ton of K-pop.
No one seems crazy for them.
What?
No, but I don't think most people.
Yeah, no, people can like K-pop and still not be like these like intense people. Like I love K-pop. I've actually shared with Carl a bunch of K-pop I like but like you're talking more about these BTS stands, and that's a little bit different than just liking K-pop.
Usually when I think of K-pop, it's just I always hear BTS. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see that's the thing. There is a difference because there's like BTS, but like there's also in Girls' Generation. There's like Miss A. I love Miss A is really good actually.
Miss A.
I don't need a man.
Her sister is Miss
B.
B.
Miss A.
Oh, Miss Bay.
Anyway.
Oh, I thought it was like Miss A, like the letter A.
No, Miss A. It is the letter A.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Yeah, no, you're right.
Uh,
But yeah, no, that's the like I like. They have a song called "I Don't Need a Man," and that music video is pretty great.
yeah. So I don't know.
I am trying to keep. I'm trying to keep snow off your mountain, and I can't do it.
We'll just let it be there. It's nature.
Hate the snow.
Just stop.
But I was right now. I'm like,
I will say, I do wish it was as easy to shovel snow in real life.
oh,
I do. I hate James. I want to go back in your house. What the fuck? Come on. This is fucking ridiculous.
This is fucking stupid jokes.
Well, you're not much better. You walked the stairs to go back upstairs. Where are you?
I did that like once. It's fine.
Carl, where are you?
Don't fucking worry about it. I'm just trying to figure something out here.
yeah.
Just trying to see if I can make a bunch of command blocks randomly generate a value for somebody, and then have me randomly teleport to that value.
Oh no.
I just thought it'd be funny. It's not even something that fucks with me. I just randomly teleport in places against my will. I just thought that'd be funny.
Yeah.
But I can't figure it out.
To these
so
worlds
whatever.
Anyway,
Shut the fuck up, Jace.
but yeah, like I mean, as far as K-pop goes, there's so much K-pop and like just in general Korean like music.
There's so
that's
much
popular.
K-pop.
There isn't. I like a
K-pop
lot
than
of
there
it.
are
Like
humans
there's
on the
some really
planet.
good. Anyhow,
yeah. So
I'm just saying. Don't oversimplify the culture. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize, but the cake in here, the cake on my texture pack, actually is really nice looking.
but anyway, when I was
A
writing
bit
it,
of
I'm
a cute
like,
little.
Babe, that's not good. That's the same.
No, it's not.
Babe, come look at my fucking screen. Here, I'll actually go into your perspective so you can see.
Since when does cake look like that? When did they change it? It used to look different.
When they changed the entire texture pack of the entire game. Remember when they did that?
No.
Remember how I keep bitching about how they did that?
Yeah.
Weird. So.
I thought it was different.
No. No.
Anyhow,
when I was so, I think I do a
So
very
what
James
next,
thing.
mate.
What, James?
Well, when I was writing it, I
What
was
did
like, I want to do something very James-like. So, or very rather un-James-like because.
This short story that we were originally talking about and then got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they'll put that in back.
And I was like, I just yell in the car. We're all driving back from Spirit Halloween. I'm like, hey guys, look! Or no, I just yell stop. And that gets you guys to like stop, and you're all just like incredibly flustered because you thought like something bad was happening. And I'm like, hey guys, there's a path down there. Let's go check it out.
Path down where?
I said it right around Farnsworth. I don't know. It was over like the bridge on Molitor. Molitor, yeah.
Command blocks are not enabled on this server. What? Hang on, let me fix this.
But and what happens is the guy goes down this. It doesn't exist in real life, obviously. Whoa, got kicked out by an operator. Thanks.
Did you, Reb?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. I wonder why.
Hmm.
I didn't do anything. I literally did not do anything.
Are you believing this, James? Is this not...
I literally didn't even have the chance to do anything before James was like, oh, kicked off by an operator.
Alright, I'm back.
Wonder what that could have been.
Alright, I'm back.
Fucking weird, guys. Fucking
But
weird.
you just like see something in the woods. It's kind of like dark because the trees got very thick and the foliage is not letting much light in.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. He just stares at this one particular, like divide in the trees, almost like a corner in a wall. In the instant he looks away, he sees some guy, all kind of bone and ashy white, with just like black holes on his face. Like where his eye's supposed to be, there's just a black void, and same thing with his mouth.
And then he jumped out of the screen and stole all my milk and said, "Got milk." Okay, wait, James, look. Wait, James.
Yeah.
Sit down. Sit down in the chair. Brad, I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
You're not even in the game.
I'm not in the game. I'll just come over to your screen.
James, stop. I was going to do a big reveal.
Where
James,
are you?
Stop. I'm right here.
Where?
What? Oh! Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
I was like, where the hell are you?
Look.
So he just makes cake.
Uh-huh.
It's a cake table, guys. So now, if we ever run out...
Alright, we got cake. Can you make like an espresso machine so we get cakes and coffee?
What am I hearing? Can I make a what now,
Can you make
James?
an espresso machine so we can have cakes and coffee?
James, I would sooner have a coffee cake than cakes and coffee. Because I want some coffee cakes right now. Brad, come on, come back, please.
Come back. I closed the game.
Why? You're the one who got kicked. Why did you close the game?
Because I also still have The Sims 4 open that I want to play.
Well, shit, I want to play Darkest Dungeon, but we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk and do stuff at the same time.
Alright, well, are we gonna talk about that one thing we tried to talk about before and failed miserably?
Which one was that? Because there's multiple, actually.
Cash.
Oh, yeah, we can totally do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my fucking god, guys. Okay.
Yeah, the attempt.
So, since we literally didn't actually make any progress last time, should we start over?
Yeah.
I think we should try to give a basic rundown.
Oh my
But I think we should start with, like, I don't know, I think we start with Carl's story, and then we go to Jane's story, and then, like, my, like, side of the story.
Again, mine's
it'll
not
be a
much
little
because I
cleaner
just
that
don't
way.
remember too much. I guess I didn't give a shit.
No, that's fine. I just think that makes sense because that's the
Yeah.
order you guys met in. So, like, everyone met him in. So I think if you start with, like, letting Carl kind of tell his side of the story,
Yeah.
we kind of build upon that. Because, like you said, you and I actually have less to tell than he does. So I say, Carl, go first.
Okay. Fuck, I'm not ready. Okay, so... How do I even begin? So, I guess, okay... How did I even preface this last time? How did I start this?
Good
I think it all started with kind of like meeting him in school,
question.
then
Fuck,
Like,
okay,
D&D.
so... Cash... I think. So, Cash was an individual I never really interacted with much until I found out. James, you realize it's sharing your screen
I
right now,
understand.
right? And you don't think that'll be a little weird?
Yeah. It's the B-roll, Carl. Don't worry about it.
Just to be okay. Okay, so I found out that he was doing D&D with a group of people from school, and I, having been lonely with no friends and wanting to do D&D, decided to ask to join, in which I was allowed. And when I got there, I first got there. We did it like what was it, James? It was like every Friday was the schedule
something
on
like
that. It was like every Friday, which is pretty cool. But we got there. I got there, and bear in mind, I have not played any D&D. I have not actually seen any content about D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about it other than the fact that I want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get there, and it starts with Cash tells me. So Cash is this guy. He's kind of an interesting individual in the sense that he has this sort of twisted charisma about him that
He has
makes
Hitler
you
charisma.
yeah, he makes you. I wouldn't say Hitler charisma. I'd say he has I'm uncomfortable to be near you, Chris.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how comfortable you were with Cash and how much you felt like they were a good friend or a confidant. You were always a little uncomfortable in their presence. But that's the thing. At that time, you could never pinpoint why. You never really, sometimes you knew it was because of them. But as he began to sort of use his tactics on you, you would begin to lose sight of where that uncomfort was coming from, which is really quite clever for a maniacal person such as this. Mm-hmm. However, I was not so blind to that when I first entered. I was clearly uncomfortable by their presence. But whatever. It's fine. I want to play D&D. And so the first thing that happens is they have me go on this computer, and there's this fucking weird program. Mm-hmm. What was that fucking called? Do you remember, James?
Program?
The one to make your character.
Oh,
yeah.
D&D Insider, maybe?
The one who... Yeah.
D&D what?
Insider.
D&D Insider. This thing fucking sucked. So, this was back during 4th edition. If 5th edition was out, I don't know. I wouldn't even have known. He acted like this was the only D&D to exist. So,
5th edition didn't come out until when I joined D&D.
Okay.
It hadn't come out yet.
Okay, so this was entirely 4th edition, which, take that as you will. But then, we also had, and he insisted, we had to make our characters on this shitty fucking program called D&D Insider, where you made your character sheets, and you would print them out, and it was fucking stupid and weird, but it was kind of necessary because 4E was a disaster and incredibly complicated for no reason. But whatever, he insists. I know for a fact that I want to play a bard, and he insists that if I'm going to be a bard, I should be a tiefling. I'm not entirely sold on being a tiefling, but he says I think you should be a tiefling. In the way that, like, when your manager says, I think you should go do this, you kind of get threatened. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I decide, sure, whatever, I'll do a tiefling. That's weird. And then he insists on doing a random name generator for my character. Though it was my character, and I wanted to name them. But whatever, I don't know that yet. So he does some random generator, like 10 or 6 times or something. And I don't know, they were all garbage. But then he comes upon, was it Scorpius or Scorpio? I always forget.
Scorpius.
I literally always forget. It's Scorpius?
Mm-hmm.
Scorpius. He thought that was the coolest thing in the world, and I thought it was kind of alright. But whatever. I like Scorpius. To this day, I like Scorpius. Scorpius was a tiefling bard. That's all I can tell you. That's really all I could say. It was so bare bones because I never really got to do anything because, well, my first session, I come in and Joey... Oh wait, we're not supposed to use names, are we? Oh, well, there we are. All the names have been changed. Joey was playing...
You're not using last names.
I don't even remember. Okay, Pompadour kid that I had like this weird crush on because I was cringe. Pompadour kid was playing a bug who was in a hole and ate a horse.
Thrycreen?
Yeah, and I thought that was...
Thrycreens.
You hate Thrycreens? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think the pizza cup thing was funny, but that was just trash tier meme.
You thought the
pizza cup thing was funny, but I know that's pretty much trash tier meme.
What was the pizza cup thing?
I think in IRL
I don't even remember that.
Weird dumb Cash and Joey things, where Joey just put a piece of pizza in a cup, And then he's like, yeah, my Thrive Queen also has a pizza cup. And Cash is like, yes.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, bringing like real food into the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. That was that. I don't know what kind of style or genre of humor this is, but they did keep doing that thing where if they thought something was kind of funny in the real world, it was just in the game. Yeah, no, it was stupid. Like, like the shoe and the spork. We'll get to those. But the point is, I come in and Joey's a bug, and he's in a hole and he eats a horse, and that's it. And that's the joke. And I'm in there, and we're in a graveyard, where we're fighting some stuff, and I couldn't tell you what's happening, and neither could literally anyone else. But at some point, and I'm not keeping track. I'm still trying to learn the ropes of the actual game. But at some point, we go to Candyland.
Yeah, the Candyland saga.
Now, I actually think to cut down on a little bit of time, I think me and James could both tell our perspective when they overlap.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Well, all I remember from Candyland was that we arrived through a portal from a cave or something. And then...
Yeah, I don't even remember how we got there.
Or I don't know, we were fighting elves or something. Or no, we stepped on a portal. I got there at the beginning of Candyland. And...
Yeah.
Suddenly my character was through the portal. But I remember once
you were just there.
We were just walking around and we kicked some candy jester's ass. So we gave...
Well, because here's the thing. James. We were in Candyland, but there was nothing to do in Candyland.
No. Because
Candyland was just it was made of candy, and that was the whole joke. And then at some point we found a dungeon, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, that's right. I made a joke at a candy shaman or some old dude, and he hit me with his candy cane, and I was almost making saving throws because Cash had no fucking chill. But at some point we're in a dungeon, and there's candy dogs, and we're in a boss battle room, and something weird happens because we're in the room, and Cash meticulously draws all of the map, which is not much. It's 2 pillars or some boring shit. It sucks. But he drew them. And we had to cut off the session there because they had horrible time management skills. And their combats last too long. And when we come back, the room's a little different. He redraws the room. It's a little different because it's been a week and Cash doesn't remember exactly how it was fucking drawn. And there's this guy. What do we call him? What do we call Bug Eye? I don't think I want to call him Bug Eye the whole time.
What are we talking about? Which one are we talking about?
Bug Eye. Bitch. Bug-eyed bitch, you know him, bald.
Oh yeah, that one. I don't even remember his real name anymore.
Oh, you don't? Let's go with let's go with Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. Okay, that was.
Okay, let's go with Chuck. So Chuck, this fucking guy,
Charles.
This guy. His eyes are always fucking popping out of his head. Let's not make fun of his face. But he was funny looking. He was a funny looking guy. He was one of the angriest people I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And when he found out that the pillars had been altered, he became enraged. He was so fucking angry about those damn pillars. And a fight broke out. Not physical yet. I don't think it got to that point. But a fight broke out verbally. Because he was fucking mad. And he was like, oh, why the fuck did you change the pillars? You changed the fucking pillars. My entire plan is ruined. And Cash is there it's just some fucking pillars. Who fucking cares? I don't even remember how the pillars were. I thought it would help you to change the pillars. He's changing his story every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And they're getting angry. And I don't even remember if we called off that session or if we just continued and Chuck went home. But it doesn't matter. Point is, we fight. It's a boring battle. And then Willy Wonka. Okay, so the boss, I forgot to mention, the boss we were battling was Willy Wanker.
Oh, yeah. Which I pointed out, and apparently Cash, like, oh, I didn't realize that. I'm like, bullshit.
Pointed out what?
That his name was Willy Wanker.
What? Cash specifically called him Willy Wanker.
No, like, that could be a joke for masturbation, Carl.
He wasn't aware of that? I thought that was the point. I thought that was the joke.
No, he claimed he wasn't, but I'm like, yeah, bullshit. Like, you don't name a man Willy Wanker without acknowledging that.
I mean, unless he really just was changed, like, what sounds like, well, Willy Wonka, what kind of sounds like Wonka? Oh, haha, wanker. Like, maybe he didn't... Cash wasn't the brightest dude, he might not have put it together.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, Willy Wanker, we defeat him, and...
Oh yeah,
and then we tortured him. Now, this is one of those points where I don't actually. I think it's actually very funny, the whole Candyland story, because from beginning to end, Candyland, from what I remember, is not an example of Cash being a particularly bad or shitty or toxic DM. In fact, it's quite possibly the best example that we were a horrible group, because we started, Chuck got pissed off and violent about these stupid fucking pillars. Who fucking knows how they were drawn a week ago. And then we beat the Jester, or the Willy Wank, I don't even know what we're calling him. He was like a candy jester, and we tortured him. Like, mercilessly. Like, it was needlessly graphic. It was not in any way comical or funny, but we were laughing maniacally the whole time. I was like peeling off. I was like ripping off his like fingernails and breaking each finger.
And I was pissed because I didn't
like
get to do anything.
Yeah, you were angry because you didn't get to do shit because Scorpius was the one doing all the torturing mostly.
Yeah,
it was horrible. It was graphic. And then we finally executed him. I think he withered away from sheer pain. Yeah. It was horrible. But then there was a super portal that opened it up back.
That does just remind me of some of the worst parts of, like, D&D that had nothing to do with Cash.
Yeah, right?
Some of the really ridiculous,
Some of the Carl D&D. I
am not giving a crap, okay? I love you dearly, you know this. You were a bit of an edgelord.
We'll talk about Abracus, or Abraxas. We'll
Abracus.
I always called him Abracus.
Even though his name was Abraxas, and you named him Abraxas?
Yes.
You named him.
I don't even remember if I named him. Fucking Cash gave us our name so often. I don't even remember.
He never did that to me.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
So then there was this.
To be fair, he probably would have fucked you just as much as he would have tried to fuck me.
I think he tried to. Point is.
Yeah, I do think he tried to. Actually, the closest he came to fucking any of us was James.
Do you want to turn on that light?
Huh?
It's fucking weird without that light on.
Yeah, I don't know why the lights.
Okay. So then a super portal opened up and brought us back to our normal world, and we came in. We were in a dungeon. We came in on a teleportation circle in a dungeon full of goblins. And now the goblins asked us where the fuck we came from. Now that I think about it, that's a stupid fucking question, because we came out of a portal on the teleportation circle. I don't know. They had a teleportation circle. Yeah. Why? Shit's gonna get teleported in sometimes. But they ask us where we come from. And now's when I explain that my character has like 13 bluff. 13. and like 19 charisma. So what kind of fucking mod is 19? I think the mods were the same in 4th edition. So what kind of fucking mod is that, James?
3.5,
4?
yeah.
That's like a... No, it was actually... It was 4th, I know for a fact.
What was the mod for, what, like 14?
19.
Oh, like 4 or 5.
It was like... Yeah, it's plus 4, I think. So I had a plus 17.
Yeah.
And so he asks us where we came from.
Have we mentioned how old you guys were when this all started? Like, I think that might be semi-relevant.
Yeah, how old were we?
Freshman year, I
don't
think
remember.
it started.
I mean, James was 14 or younger.
I was freshman year.
Oh, then I was 14 or younger.
Well, yeah, because I started right between your birthdays. So I think you were 15, I think James was 14.
Okay.
Which actually, I think if we line that up to the timeline now, with me knowing you guys for about 5 years, yeah, that's about right. I think that's how old you guys
15 doesn't sound right. I feel like I was younger. Are we sure it wasn't 14, 13?
It might have been 14, 13, actually.
Because 15... Because if I'm lining that up with me being 16, which I use me being 16 as a big sort of point on my timeline, because I know what happens around that time.
Wait. You would have been 14, so it would have been 2014, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. You're right. That is when it was, because we did D&D with Cash before we did D&D together.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing. So you were definitely...
Yeah. It's definitely at least a year before.
But...
Wait, what?
That's confusing.
It doesn't matter.
Because Jack was 17. Jack was 7.
How?
No, Jack was 6. Jack was 16 when I did D&D with Cash. So you guys might have been 13, 14 when you started doing D&D with Cash. But by the time I joined, it was 15, 14.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't actually care about our ages. I just... where was I, James?
The mods. Incredible mods. Bullshit mods, actually.
Candyland.
Yeah,
Candyland Goblin. So, okay, the goblins asked us, where'd you come from? And I, in all truthfulness, tell them that we are from Candyland. We just came from Candyland.
Yeah.
And he tells me to roll a bluff check, and I go, well, it's not a bluff check. We're actually from Candyland. He goes, yeah, well...
Make one anyway.
Just do it. It's like, it's to, like, convince them.
But we're telling the truth.
I'm like, okay. That's it. Interesting. I can get behind it. Especially since my bluff was better than my, like, persuasion.
Yeah.
So, sure, whatever. Let's go for it. And I roll some ludicrous number on the D20. Like, that's pretty cool. I roll some bullshit number on the D20, like fucking 18 or 17.
A pretty decent bluff check is what you're basically saying.
Especially considering I had a plus 17 to my bluff. And he goes, you don't make it. And I go, why? And he goes, the DC was 50. And I sit there and I roll my fucking eyes way back into my head. That's it. I mean, I don't know. That was a big one. I remember it was really funny the first time I told it in the Minecraft interview. But wow.
No, I mean, it's funny. It's stupid as well.
That was fucking dumb. The DC was 50. Well, then why'd you make me roll, jackass? And I know because he thinks that when you're rolling for something, he thinks that like a nat 20 doesn't instantly mean a success. But if he's rolling for something, he means like a nat 18 is an instant success. So, you know, it's pretty bad. But yeah, no, I fail, and then they attack us, and then for some reason there's some character there named... What is it? Is Stefan? Stefan? Yeah. Okay, so Stefan was... He was this, like, human paladin DMPC who is super overpowered, bullshit stats. And he comes in, and... For some reason... Oh, no. I remember why. So he comes in, and this is when your character, James... Do you want to explain what happens with your satyr.
Oh yeah. So he just wants to
So
sacrifice himself, and then Scorpius kills him, and Stefan just like, "What the fuck did you do that for, bitch?"
no, that's not what happens.
I know he died, and then
Well, that's pretty close. Okay, here, let me explain. You might have forgotten. So by the way, his savior was a stoner.
oh yeah, he hardcore drugs.
Worth noting. He did hardcore drugs, and every time he cast magic stones and it failed, he got high.
Oh, yeah.
And I think every time he succeeded, he got high. So he was high. But James got bored of living. His satyr literally got bored of living and wanted to kill, and was about to kill himself. And I was like, "Wait, Cash, if I kill him, do I get all of his levels?" And Cash says, "Yes." And then I stab you to death. Like, it takes me like 2 or 3 turns to stab you to death. I finally kill you. And then right after I get all of your experience and I'm writing it down, and Cash casually announces, after you've just been murdered to death, that you're all beginning to feel a little hungry now. And I eat James's legs.
Yeah, you also like eat the goat parts of me.
I'll just eat the goat. I'll just eat the leg of goat. And I did. And then, even though, and everyone else is
the worst part
casually,
is it does have some logic to it.
everyone else is casually sitting around, munching on their rations after I've just stabbed a fellow party member to death with no reason. Because it wasn't in-game. The satyr's like, "Guys, does anyone want to kill me?" James was like, "I think I'm gonna kill myself." And I just asked out of game, "Can I kill it for the levels?" And then so Scorpius, for no reason, just runs in and stabs you though. And so nobody cares, all casually having a snack, and I begin to consume his leg. Like a fucking... Like a rat vampire. Like a sewer vampire. Yeah. You know, like one of those blue bitches from Vampire Masquerade. And so then Saffron gets fucking angry at me because I'm a tiefling. Who, Saffron? Oh, you'll find out soon. Okay. So Saffron got angry at me, and so Cash got up and literally began to strangle me out of game for like almost a whole minute. And I was dying, and everyone else was like laughing, and while I was actually being killed, like IRL.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So he just did that, and I was like,
"What was going through your head at that moment when he was actually? Were you like, oh, I'm just gonna die? This is where it ends."
I was literally beginning to attack him. I was trying to tap out, and it wasn't working. So I was literally like grabbing my pencil. I was like I don't even remember, but yeah, I remember he was trying to kill me. So I was like trying to like pretend it didn't fuck with me too bad at first, but then I had to breathe, so I was tapping out, and that didn't work. So then I was like trying to elbow him in the fucking like sides, and that wasn't working. And eventually let go. But yeah, no, he just strangled me in real life. I was like, hey, don't do that.
Way beyond the point of it being funny.
Funny or good in any way.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah, no, he strangled me. And I had a mark on my neck for like 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, real bad.
I've never even you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, you have.
Not for 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, then maybe I was wrong about the time span. Point is, Stefan did that, and James's character's dead, and and then James rolls up a new character, and God knows what it was, because James, you went through like 8 characters. James, you went through like 1.8 characters. You went 1.8
characters. That's a whole lot.
James went through like 0.8 characters a session.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Like per session. Okay, that does change. That makes sense.
Yeah,
James, why didn't you just stick with a character?
They kept dying.
Oh.
They actually it's funny, the first one, he wanted to die. The, like, fifth, you know, it doesn't matter. They were dying whether he liked it or not. They just kept dying. And at some point, you became a brain in a jar. Do you remember that?
Something like that, yeah.
Do you remember you had, like, a Minotaur character who like, you were smashed into nothing but a brain, but we put you in a mech, and so you were, like, trans Minotaur? I don't know, it was stupid.
I remember
the point is,
I remember one of my guys had their legs cut off. So they gave him like mech legs or something.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Either way, at some point we're going, and it's weird because I only remember a few disparate parts between this and the next part I really want to get to, but I remember at one point we're going, and we're going to go to a fort to help do some combat or some shit, and there's a carriage, and everyone just attacks the carriage of random innocent people for no fucking reason, and Michaela wants to rape one of them, and...
Wait, what?
Yeah, and...
Wait, Michaela wants to rape one of what? The
people on the carriage. There's just a random carriage of random peasants, and we all just attack them for no reason. And so I want their money...
Trapped individual.
I want their money. Michaela wants to rape them. I threaten them to not rape them. I threaten them, like, hey, don't rape them. But I still, like, stab the husband's, like, eyes to death. And then, like, somebody, like, fucks... and then Pompadour, like, Joey Bugman eats the fucking horses. Because that's his running joke. His running joke is he eats horses. I don't know why. And at some point, we get to this castle, and we're doing this stupid battle, and Janie shows up for, like, 2 sessions, and there's a PvP battle for no reason. We're in the middle of, like, an actual all-out war in a fucking castle, but at some point we're all just in the stables, and Sockwell and Jamie get into, like, a verbal fight, like, out of game, and so they decide to get in a combat in-game or something for the laugh, and then, like, we all bet money on it, and then I lose because Jamie sucked at that fucking game, and so did Sockwell, and I was just betting that Sockwell was worse, but I was wrong. But it doesn't matter. At some point, wait. Oh, James, do you remember how the Tard got introduced?
The Tard. No, I don't.
I don't remember
how.
I
don't remember, no, but I remember I just acquired one. Or who acquired it?
I got one, actually. I got one. It's important to note, in case it hasn't been painfully clear, that I'm pretty sure everyone in that room, at that table, had autism.
Yeah, definitely.
Me, James, Michaela, Cash, and then the few others, maybe not. Doesn't matter.
Most of the people who were laughing at the card thing were autistic.
Yeah, but Cash is mega autistic. But Cash had this weird relationship with autism that I, to this day, don't really understand. Because he acted like it made him superior, but then he also joked about it and like it was funny because it made people stupid and retarded. And he wanted to have remember when he kept talking about having a cult to autism?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think his meta humor was just either leagues ahead of ours or leagues below that of a rotten banana. But it doesn't matter, because there was the Tard, which is like big, haha, funny, retarded guy. It's bad, it's stupid, but we just treated him like he was a Yeti.
Well, no, I think there was like
more
than
one Tard. They used a Yeti, used a Yeti too.
Yeah, we used a Yeti proxy. What was that, James?
I remember there was this one point where we found multiple Tards and we were fighting Tards. No, wait, that's actually how it happened. That's where we got the Tard from.
Yeah, and I made like some kind of bullshit. Yeah, we were fighting a bunch, and then I made some sort of bullshit check to like tame one, and now I have this broken, overpowered Yeti character.
Yeah, that
fighting for us, because why not? And so at some point we're in this castle, and this fucking kid who shows up for like one session sets the castle. We're inside on fire, but then Cash immediately like retcons the fact that happened, and then just says that the castle got on fire anyways.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, you can't fire me, I quit. I don't know what that's about.
You
but
can't. I don't know. That's such a weird thing to do too.
But
Because
then-
it's almost like non-connective.
it's just stupid. But then
It's less you can't fire me, I quit. It's you can't fire me, I'm a magic pumpkin. It's really fucking unconnected.
what are you talking about? He retconned his fire and said, "Oh wait! This is how Bugman, Joey, and Chuck leave."
Oh, okay. Let's
I
hear it.
forgot. Okay, so a little bit before the fire, Cash, out of game, as the DM, conspired with me to try and kill Joey and Chuckman's fucking characters. And then at some point, mid-battle, we just decide now's the time to kill, and we just start killing them, and we get pretty damn close.
Remember
And then
the PvP.
it doesn't matter because we have a fight, and then they leave the game, and they're no longer at the table anymore.
I remember at some point.
What were you gonna say, James?
My new character, whichever one it was, I think Cash fought him or someone else did, and he stabbed stuff into my kneecaps, crippling him. So he had to fire in an army, with the use of no legs.
I remember that. I think I remember that. Your characters had an interesting relationship
Oh,
with
hold
their
on,
legs.
let's talk about Glock Biggs for a moment. The
I
goblin.
don't think any of your characters.
Well, let's talk about Glock
I
Biggs.
don't think any of your characters died with intact legs, James.
Well, first of all,
The first one
I need to
died
talk
with
about-
with
intact
intact
legs.
legs, but he didn't stay dead with intact
I
legs.
need to talk
Yeah, no,
about.
that-
He didn't even reach the afterlife before his legs were gone. Continue, James. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so
Continue.
I need to talk about Glock Biggs for a moment, which he was one of my.
No. Wait, James, wait, hang on, James, I'm sorry. We have to dedicate a special thing to Clifford.
Oh, jeez.
And then, we have to talk about Clifford at some
Oh,
point.
okay.
We'll talk about Glock,
Yeah,
James.
Glock.
Don't worry.
To really talk about him first, you always need to mention his
Have
backstory.
we ever, even when we were doing other stuff, did we mention how my sibling had a character, Michaela had a character,
Yeah.
that existed in one timeline, and then also existed in a previous timeline that happened afterwards? So we knew, technically
What?
speaking, nothing could happen to that character in the past timeline because they existed in the future timeline.
I
Do you
don't know
remember
what you're
that?
talking about.
Glor?
But it sounds definitely like something Michaela would come up with.
Glorks- I know
it wasn't-
Glorkskin,
it
but
wasn't Michaela. It was Cash's doing.
Oh.
I know Glorkskin, but I don't remember that. Are you talking about how we met Scorpius in that campaign?
No,
Because we did.
I don't remember that. I just remember because Glorkskin existed in the one campaign already that you guys had been playing, and then the
No, I don't think so.
yeah.
Maybe. Who fucking knows,
What are we
honestly.
laughing at now, James?
That's on my stream.
What was that,
On
James?
my fucking stream. Don't worry about it.
What?
You'll see it later.
Talking about?
Anyway.
Oh, I see it. I disagree. That's good image. But point is,
Yeah, continue.
okay, so we're in a castle, and then the place goes on fire, and then Saffon basically goes. He reveals that he's actually evil, and he goes, "Haha, you fools! I'm fucking evil." And then he chokes Saffon a little bit, just enough to be kinky, but not enough to actually hurt him for
Yeah.
some reason. And then we're like in hell, and we're in space hell.
Yeah.
Because Cash was upset was obsessed with Warhammer, and suddenly we're in like Corn dimension, Which, if you don't know, Korn is
Korn.
the super demon of like war and pain
from
and
Warhammer
murder
40K.
and like death.
This is where I came in.
Yeah, Cash had a big
But not
obsession
quite
with Warhammer
Kind
40K.
of. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, that will become clear soon.
Yeah.
But he just goes, okay, you are, and he doesn't make any interesting transition. It's not like the whole place burns away and behind the wreckage you see something beyond all, belief. No, he just goes, there's fire, and then suddenly, and now the ground is skulls, and the sky is like a pinkish purple, and there are demons everywhere. And it's like, oh, cool. And so then Safon, he places down this Warhammer proxy that he had worked on for like 8 months. And then he's like, this is Safon. If any of you damage this proxy, I will break your kneecaps. And we're like, okay, chill out. Yeah. It's like, and then Safon is battling, and then he begins to battle us. And he does this thing where he like cuts his leg and if you can't kill me before I bleed out to death, you lose. Even though it's like, you stupid fucking idiot, all we have to do is wait now. But whatever. Because he does that. And now we are in the Safon battle. Yeah. Now the Safon battle is actually not so much a battle as it is an entire era of time that we were playing D&D. Because that lasted how many sessions?
I think I said like
5 or 6.
It was definitely not 10, but still obnoxious.
It was not good.
If you put it this way, it was every Friday. It definitely took more than a month.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely took maybe a month and a half. Yeah, and it wasn't like particularly good or interesting, because what kept happening is certain people could make it this week and then couldn't make it the next week, and then some people there would join in and never come back because that was their only session they'd ever experienced of D&D, and it was fucking awful because we were in this flat, boring fucking land of skulls with no interesting terrain or anything, and there were some weird demon creatures and a big guy, and that was it. And we were fighting, and it just didn't matter. And so we were like, oh, if we kill Safon, we'll win the battle, because that's usually how boss battles work. Let's face it. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, you're expecting a boss battle to go like this. There's a big guy, a lot of smaller guys. You kill the big guy, you win.
5 or 6 weeks is a long time for him to not bleed out.
Yeah, right?
Sorry, it just like occurred to me now. I just hadn't thought of it like that before, that's all.
Yeah, I know. I think that was the funny part.
What was your first character again?
My first character was... I might have my first character sheet. Hold on a second.
Alright, you look for that. I'm going to explain the
because
whole
I
thing.
think I do have them.
Can I explain the battle? Yeah.
You know, you go.
So basically, we're going for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks until finally, one of the characters literally incinerates him. I don't even remember how. We finally fucking managed to kill him, and he begins to get incinerated, and he's turning into ashes, and he laughs, and he goes, "Ha ha, you fools! I will be back." And we're all just rolling our eyes. It's like, oh, cool, we fought him for a month and a half for him to tell us that he'll come back. How fucking interesting. And then Gimp shows up. Now, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what was going on in my head. But Gimp, so whereas Safon was inspired by the Warhammer proxy that Cash meticulously and painstakingly crafted, I, on the other hand, didn't know how to paint. So I had a single layer of pink primer on this one Slanesh dude. Because Cash was a enabler. And we named him Gimp because we thought it was funny. And he was really gay. Yep. And he sounded gay. And he showed up and said some weird stuff.
I'm pretty sure
I don't
he
even
came out
remember.
With a strap on, right?
I don't think so, actually.
Oh.
That's a great question, but I don't think so. The point is that he gives us some weird, like, cylindrical D20. Like, he gives us this giant rock that has a keyhole in it and the Yeti fucks the keyhole open. And then we, like, teleport or something?
Yeah.
Or no, we went to a demon castle. And then we found a super circle. And then we went on it, and the Yeti fucked the lock open on the super rock. And then we were teleported out of hell. It was that simple.
Yeah,
it was that fucking simple.
Slot A to slot,
and
slide B, and screw it, you know?
Yeah. What?
What? Like an IKEA meme.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So the Yeti fucks the lock, and now we're in the mortal realm. And this is the part that pisses me off, because he tells us.
Yeah, all our money is worthless.
Because he tells us. I just heard something weird in the other room. He tells us that it has been, and without even skipping a beat. He like, oh, you're now in this land, and you're like in this big open field, and it's like, cool, we're in a field, and he says, 10,000 years have passed. All of your money is worthless.
10,000
or
years.
some shit like that.
Like, do you know how much changes in 10,000 fucking years? And we're still.
I don't even know. It might have only been like 400.
Oh.
I don't even care. Point is, everyone you've ever known is dead.
Yeah.
I know it was long enough. He came in, or actually,
you may as well be using Electrum at this point because it's worthless.
Yeah, we came in. We went to a town. And I tried to buy something. No, that's what happened. I tried to buy something, and then he was just like, and they're like, "Wow, your money sucks."
Fucking toaster.
Or no, they didn't. No, I keep forgetting. People don't say things in game. That would be good. No. I tried to buy something, and then he was like, no, 1,000 years have passed. All of your money is worthless. And I'm like, cool. What about that backstory that I really care about, where I'm trying to find the Bard College and meet my, like, childhood hero who's, like, who's been, like, being impersonated by Tony Trickster or whatever. I don't even remember. There was a lot of lore to my character that we're not going to talk about because it doesn't matter.
They got thrown away.
Because like 1 billion years passed or some stupid shit.
I just realized why you guys think I'm such a good DM. It's not just because I don't do all the shitty things, but like, I don't know, your character's backstories have an impact. I try to make it so things are worth it.
Because our first experience with the DM was
Carl, was it Clifford
Cash
or Cash's World where the fucking toaster thing happened?
What toaster thing?
Where I kept trying to buy a weapon and all I would ever get was a toaster.
That was mine.
Okay.
That was mine.
Okay. So James asked a question a little while ago.
Let's hear it.
Who's my first character? Technically speaking, I think the first character I made was my Clash Tar, maybe? But I don't have that sheet anymore, because I made that when we played Abraxas, so that was the first time I played D&D. But the first time I came to Cash's house, I had to make another character, and this was on the day of the end of the Saffon battle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I made a good female Deva sorcerer, and her name is Alphane. I think I cast one spell during that battle.
Yeah.
And then it was over.
Yeah, because you were like making your character while we were fighting too.
Yeah, I was in the other room, kind of left to my own devices. I had to keep calling Cash over because I was like, what is this? What do I do here?
Yeah, because Yeah,
and it was really.
It was your second time playing D&D.
It was my second. It was literally the second day I'd ever played D&D in my life, and I was left alone to create a character.
Yeah, and the first time your character was pretty
she had some pretty cool attacks and stuff, and like she could do some pretty cool stuff. But like I never got the chance to do anything with her. And then I do also have my character for Cliffworks, which I really like, which is she had some very, very cool. She had some really freaking cool backstory that I'm still proud of. And her name is Ildesha Gerubi.
Oh yeah.
And she was Variloka necromancer.
We'll talk about Cliffworks. But,
hey, I would love to revive this character though in like some other fashion, just because she is cool.
And bring her back to Primus. Let's do it.
I mean, she's evil too. She was straight up Like, she was straight up evil. Like, that was the funnest part. Like, my sibling was also playing a necromancer. They were playing a male necromancer who was, I think, a drow. And I had totally manipulated him into marrying my cousin. Yeah, I had manipulated him into marrying my cousin.
Weird. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, no, I did. I wrote it down somewhere, but yeah, he was like, I manipulated him into marrying my cousin, and like, I used to make fun of him about it and make jokes.
Loser, you got married.
Well, my cousin was awful. My cousin was not like I may be evil, but my cousin was horrible to like be around.
I get it.
But
okay.
Yeah, no. So, and this is the character that got licked as well, which makes me sad to think about.
They got what?
Licked.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about Cliff Forks, but right now we're focusing on.
I just wanted to answer James' question while I happened to find my stuff.
If the Saffron battle was an error, what comes next is something else. Because one, we're out and we have nothing to fucking do because there's no leads to follow. There's nothing, and so because my like super warlock patron, because I'm a bard, I have a warlock patron. Don't ask. Was Zinch because they're fucking some Warhammer nerd. One day, fucking Cash in school gave me this shitty fucking wrinkled up piece of trash napkin that had a bunch of inane, crazy scrawlings and symbols on it that said, you know, the destiny you seek is in the spire. And I'm like, Cash, what the fuck is this? And he goes, oh yeah, Zinch hands you this book. And nobody's looking. Like, okay. Like, okay. And so we go in the game, and I use my dastardly charisma. And by dastardly charisma, I mean at this point, the only people in the fucking game are me, James, off and on. Maybe Michaela, but I don't even know. I don't even think so. And some other bloke that kept popping in and out. I was the only person that was actually there every session. And so I just sort of, we went over to the, I literally bought the work of some mercenaries with spears. And we went into this giant, weird, shifting spire that he described that pierced the clouds or something. It was really tall, and there was a dragon on it. And we're like, wow, this is pretty weird.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, also, and when we were in Hell, we met this guy called Armageddon Lightning Cougar.
Armageddon Lightning Cougar.
That's really fucking important, but not really. Yeah, he's really important. He's the DMPC now because he's good, I guess. The reason he's called Armageddon Lightning Cougar, and this is actually trivia that Rebin and James you might not know. The reason he's called Armageddon Lightning Cougar is because back at this point, I listened to a lot of Berserk, which is this like janky like Canadian band.
I remember you talking
which
about that.
I learned about because because one of their songs was the intro music to the Amazing Atheist podcast. Because I was an edgy atheist. Just to throw myself out there a little bit more. And one of their songs is called Apocalypse Thunder Bear. And I love that song. And so Cash called his DMPC Armageddon Lightning Cougar. Because he's a shit. And so, we find the spire, we go to it. And there's a black dragon that rings all the way around the spire, and it comes down, and he goes, hey, to get in, you have to defeat me. And we're like, oh, wow. And we get our weapons ready, and he goes, in a game of Go. And what happens next is interesting, because this was a session Who's that? I really like that.
It's a sketch of Arya from Pretty Little Liars.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, I like it.
What happens next? This is a session where the only people there is Cash, of course, me, James, and some guy who's never played D&D before, or something, or at least is very new.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, that I think what you're thinking of comes later. The point is, what happens now is we're like, whoa, cool, that sounds interesting, and I'm like, I will play you in Go, and Cash pulls out a Go board, which, if you don't know, is like the slowest, most time-consuming. That's really cute. Game in existence. It's like this board game, and it's like Asian, and it's like chess, but not really. And you make lines and borders, and the goal is to. It's like Othello if Othello was on crack.
Yeah.
And
I actually think Othello was designed as Go Light.
maybe. The point is that it took a long time, and I was the only one playing it, and Cash had to explain to me the rules while we were playing because I had never played Go before. And I won! And when I finally won, after like 3 or 4 fucking hours of James and this other guy who had never played D&D, or at least not very much, were sitting around on their ass doing fucking nothing. After I won, Cash was like, I went easy on you. I just wanted to advance the plot. And I'm like, fine, whatever. Please, can we play? And so the dragon lets us in. Whoa, that's really cute. I love that. That's like Tropical Bongo. We go in to the spire, and it's this big donut-shaped room. And in the center, okay, I really like it. I mean, you can't keep showing me these. The audience can't see them. She keeps showing me drawings that she's done in the past. We enter this giant donut-shaped room, and there's this cylinder in the very middle, and it's got doors, and we go in, and it's an elevator, and it takes us up to the next level. And on the next level, which is a slightly, ever so slightly smaller donut, we arrive, and we come in, and there's some monsters or something. And now begins... I don't know if I would call this the peak of Cash's bad DMing or the downfall of their DMing as a whole. Because the campaign didn't survive this. Because I was the only person, and then James a little bit, were the only people that were continuing to play this fucking campaign. Yeah. And it killed us. Not our characters. Our spirits, our will and capacity to carry on, because this was the gameplay loop. That's cute. Stop. This is what would keep happening. We go in to the elevator. It takes us up a level. We go out. The room has some creatures, some monsters of some variety. We utterly gut fuck them to death because Cash's DMPC is overpowered, I have a Yeti, and I have 2 mercenaries. And then James is also there sometimes. Yeah. And so we fuck up the competition completely and utterly, and then we go back to the elevator, and it takes us up a level, and we go out, and that's the loop.
Yeah.
Go in elevator, go out, defeat, go in.
Turned Scorpius into a girl.
You just love revealing all the spoilers, babe. Please.
Wait, is that
yeah, this is about to happen. Let me get to that. Please. Oh my god. You're like my mom watching movies. Fuck, I remember one time we were doing the camp, we're doing D&D at my house in 4 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck? I live 30 minutes away from you. And that just kept happening over and over. So there's a lot of games that I just missed. I don't even know what happened for those ones. Do you have any idea what happened in those, James? Or was it all just the same?
Yeah, loop, tower loop.
Tower loop? Okay. At some point, we do a Halloween D&D session. which was...
Oh, no.
And I'm not saying this to exaggerate. This was one of the worst nights I had ever had in my life, and definitely the worst Halloween. Because we were told days before, maybe a day, that we were going to Wes's
house, yeah.
house. It was Wes. That's interesting. I hadn't brought up Wes at all during this entire time. Interesting. Because Wes had only showed up to D&D like one more time before. Wes was an interesting character because they were dumb and not very fun. We don't know Wes. We don't know where he lives. But we're told we gotta go to his house. He gives us their address. We go to Wes, rushed. I go there, rushed in my shitty, like, I was like some sort of ghost from World War I or something. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We go there with our little outfits, and we take forever because Cat... This is the weird thing. We're playing Halo, and then Cash wants us to go out trick-or-treating right now at 7:15.
At night, yeah.
I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Or no, it was 6:45, I think. 6:45 p.m. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We can't go right now. It's still light out. He's like, no, we gotta go right now. If we want all the candy, if we want all the good stuff, we have to go right now. And we're like, it's supposed to be fun. He's like, what? And so we go. We have to go right now. He shoos us out the fucking door. And so we go, and we separate into these two groups, and Cash and Wes and some other shit heels. And weren't you there, James?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Were you amongst them?
That. Yep, I was there.
Why don't you give us a little bit of insight into what was going on in that group?
So I remember there was a big argument, and it was very uncomfortable to be there. And then one of the guys who was there with us was teaching me how to fence. Well, you guys all played D&D. And
no, I'm talking about the group while you were trick-or-treating.
Oh, I don't remember who I was with.
You were with Cash and Wes. Okay, well, let me tell you what I did know. I know because we saw them here in the quick, and then grabbing all the fucking they were the kind of shit people. By the way, they were older than us. They were way older. And they were the kinds of shit people to, when the bull says take one, they take like a handful, or they dump the whole fucking bull into their back.
Person would do that.
Yeah, no, they did that.
No,
girl,
I'm saying I did that.
You did that, James.
Well, the last time I went trick-or-treating, I did, but that was with you guys.
Did you dump whole bowls of the shit into your fucking bags? Well, yeah, that's what they would do.
No, I would just take a literal handful.
Oh. Well, whatever. I had fun trick-or-treating, but then we got lost because the only people who know the way back to Wes's house were not with us.
Yeah.
So we got lost in a place we didn't know. And then we went back and we started to play nothing. Because everyone was fighting with their Nerf guns and watching Happy Tree Friends in the basement. And everyone was fucking around. And the printer didn't work. And we were still making characters for the fucking... How many people... Vanessa was there, and she had never played fucking D&D before. But he was making her make a character sheet on the shitty computer upstairs in a dark room.
Yeah.
And that was weird, because it was using the system, and the printer didn't work, and nothing was going right, and I'm pretty sure...
Yeah, it was not fun.
Cash... And me, actually, and maybe you, James, wanted to play D&D. Yeah. And Reb, were you there? I don't even know. You weren't even there. Who knows? Who fucking knows? And so we're playing... Whatever happened to not using people's real names? I guess I was just giving up.
Yeah.
Whatever. Point is, we're going, and we start D&D finally at like 9 fucking p.m. And we do one battle in the Spire. And there's pumpkins, and we attack the pumpkins, and that's all I remember, because at some point, there's a guillotine, and to continue, somebody has to get killed by the guillotine. Why we didn't put one of the pumpkin people in there, I don't know. But Armageddon, before any of us can say anything, before James can even offer to sacrifice his, like, 18th character this week, or some shit, Armageddon Lightning Code goes, "Go on without me, I will sacrifice myself." And we're like, okay. And then he kills himself. And he describes it in gory, bittersweet detail as your friend and companion die. And we're like, no, can we leave? And we get in the elevator before his head hits the fucking ground. And we go up. And that's it. That's the whole session. I go home and I cry for hours because the whole day was terrible, not even just the session. But then this happens. And this is the fun part. James, I don't even know if you were here this session. I don't even know. Because it devolves into chaos. Actually, you know how earlier I was talking about how Colors of Madness, DLC, and Darkest Dungeon is about reality, time, and space folding in on itself? Yeah. This is actually, when I look back and I try to think about the Spire, that's what I'm getting. It's just a mess. It's like there's a timeline with a bunch of points leading into other points. But it's like if you take that line and then just tangle it up and smash it and just start smearing the points all over the table, it means nothing. It's the reason that we have cones in our eyes for vision. Because if each individual receptacle or receiver... if each individual receptor in our eyeballs were to take in all the light in the room, it would be meaningless. It'd be nothing. We couldn't actually see anything at all. It would just be white or something. It would be worthless. That's why we have individual points that we can piece together into an image. Yeah. That's why this is a disaster, because it's worthless time. It's meaningless time. And the last session of the Spire, we fight something. Some variable. And then, after which, we go into the elevator, and Super God, or Zinch, or something, some Y variable, tells us that we're gonna start cannon hopping now, or some stupid shit. And it throws us in a hell portal. And I'm like, hey, wait, you told me that the key to my destiny and like my backstory, specifically out of game, explicitly, would be to go into the Spire. Are we being sent there? And then he's like, no, you've been lied to. And I'm like, I've been fucking lied to. And then Stephen Hawking becomes a lobster, and I get gender bent. And what's interesting is this. My character getting gender bent had been less than a week gender fluid. I wonder why my character got gender bent. I don't know. Point is, my character got gender bent at my discomfort, and Stephen Hawking was a lobster, and me and this guy who had never played D&D before began cannon hopping.
Yeah.
And this is when it all just crashes. If the Saffron battle is grabbing your keys and saying, I only had a few, I can drive just fine, and the Spire was the drunk driving, then what happens next is the grisly aftermath of everything leading up to that point. Yeah. Because we go through this space war. Both soldiers in the Imperial Legion from Warhammer, and we're in the Imperial Legion from Warhammer, and Cash gives us this long fucking speech by one of the commissars, and he explains that if you move or say anything or do anything at all, your characters will be shot to death. And we're like, cool, this is really fun. Yeah. And he's like, did you say that in game? And I'm like, no. He's like, okay. And so he's oh, by the way, he always blasted heavy metal music all the time, to the point where you can barely hear him. Yeah. And he's giving this long-winded speech that neither two of us in the room care about. And then the Tyranids attack. And so we're fighting Tyranids. And if you don't know what Tyranids are, they're like really overpowered space bugs that like take DNA from anything they kill, and they can't be killed, and they're all immortal, and they're super powerful.
Yeah.
And it's really
fun.
cool. It's a cool concept. Too bad it's wasted, especially here, because the Tyranids come in and they kill us, and they're killing us. And the thing is, we're not actually playing D&D right now, which is very interesting, and it's very telling that I am the one to say this, because we are not playing D&D. This guy has never played D&D before, but we're not playing D&D. We are playing a version of Warhammer that Cash came up with on the fly, because Cash has never played or even seen played Warhammer. Interesting. Cash has us rolling these d6, and the d6 mean something, and we have some variables, some values that are represented by integers. But it doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters. We roll dice, and the dice say... The dice don't even give declarations. Yeah. They don't give orders. They don't even give suggestions. They give the illusion of happenstance. Whereas Cash is the one dictating what is actually happening. Because no one cares. No one cares. We're in a battle in Warhammer, and then next we're teleported onto a pirate boat, and I get a big gun and shoot some people. And then next we're somewhere else, and somewhere here, and there. And it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. We're all just playing some new video game that I've never played, and this guy's never played, and he's never played D&D, and that's why he's here. And then we get teleported into the Warhammer Sisters of Battle barracks. And I'm still a tiefling, by the way. That has not changed for some reason at all.
Yeah.
I'm still a tiefling. And everyone's fucking around and doing nothing, and I'm like, hey, you know, this whole Sisters of Battle thing is a little weird, don't you think? I mean, come on. There's no Brothers of Battle, am I right? And then, like, 18 different Sisters of Battle threatened to choke me to death because I am a super communist and I hate the Emperor or some stupid shit. And now I'm told that the Empire is going to super nuke the planet. Which is when they super nuke and you know how like in Spore there's the planet buster thing you can get in the Space Age where it blows up a whole planet?
No, I've actually never played
It's
Spore.
like, oh well, in Spore, once you reach the Space Age, there's this one upgrade you can have your ship have where
once you reach the Space Age and then you still play. Am I right though?
It's worth it for the planet buster. You get to blow up planets. Come on, that's pretty fucking cool.
Future stage, it's just kind of a throwaway game for me.
Yeah.
They just should have made it better. They should have done better.
Really? After the cell stage, just a throwaway for me.
I like some of the creature stage. It's just once it gets to where they're like basically like weird little human boys.
I like the cell stage and I like the space age, and that's it. Just because I can fly around and shoot shit. It's cool. I don't know. But they're going to planet bust it, and there's this giant fucking nuke that comes down and it decimates the entire planet. Why? I don't know. There's literally an Imperial barracks on it. We're like on an Imperial planet. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's coming down. And so I come up with this idea. I have this brilliant plan. We put grenades on our feet. Right? We're strapping grenades to our feet. And like a cartoon, we see the shadow grow bigger and bigger on the ground above us as this nuke is gonna come down and explode the whole planet. And he's giving us a countdown. And I'm explaining to this guy who's never played D&D that we should put grenades on our feet. So what will happen is we'll jump up, we'll pull the pin with a string, and it will rocket jump us up into the stratosphere, and we'll escape the planet, and then probably the blast from the planet exploding will just propel us off into nothing. Okay.
Yeah. It sounds like it'd work.
And so Cash is counting down.
I'm gonna cry.
And then I look at him, and I'm trying to convince him. And finally, he's like, "That sounds like a really bad idea." And I'm like, "No, really, it's a great idea. Let's do it." And he goes, "Okay." So we finally do it. And he says it takes us some time. And now he's down to like fucking 16 or something. And so I'm counting down now. I'm like 10, 9, 8, and then I get down to 3, 2, 1, and me and him, out of game, both jump up into the air, and we say that, and he does a pulling of the pin, like grenade motion underneath his feet, and I say, and I jump up into the air, and then I don't do anything, and I just and then I land on my hands and facing backwards or something, and I'm like, I don't detonate the grenades, and this guy gets obliterated. He gets incinerated instantaneously, and he is an ex object. It is an ex parrot. This is a former parrot. This man is gone, and so I'm like, ha ha, you fucking idiot. You thought that would work? And then Cash counts down to 0, and the nuke crashes down and crushes me entirely and utterly underneath the weight of the planet. And he describes how nothing happens because it was a dud nuke.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, the Scorpius. Goodbye, you fucking shit. Fuck that. I don't even know if I told this story to I don't even know if this says anything about Cash anymore. Maybe a little bit.
I mean, there was definitely a little bit to that. I mean, I think we should definitely talk. I think we should talk about clip orcs. I think we need to address the clip orcs in the room.
We need to address. Hang on,
Because part of Cash's problems were just what he did as a DM. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't a good DM by any stretch of the imagination.
He was a bad DM and a bad person.
Bad DM. He was, but some of what you described didn't really actually touch on all the bad person parts. We talked a little bit about me creating character, but he also did just creepy things. He was just a creep.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that. And Cliffworks is a good demonstration of that.
Yeah,
for a couple reasons.
In fact, maybe while I'm going pee, you should explain...
my introduction?
You should explain your introduction with...
Yeah.
Abraxas.
Okay, so I'll talk...
You're going to have to tell that really well.
So I was a little bit older than everybody else, but Cash and Carl and my sibling were playing in my basement one day when I got home from my first ever job. And I kind of wanted to piss off to my bedroom to play on my computer. But my sibling really wanted me to join. I had never played D&D, but I wanted to try it out for a while. So I was like, you know what? I get a chance to spend some time with my sibling. I get a little bit of an introduction to D&D. It sounds okay. So I go down and Cash has me get on D&D Insider to make my character, which is a nightmare in and of itself. And I don't know anything about D&D. I don't know the lore. I don't know the races. And, here's the thing. I'm someone who's always been into fantasy, so, I know what a dwarf is. I know what elves are. I get, most of those kind of races. I understand the basics of those. But, D&D 4E, by the point we were playing it, was so saturated with races that I'd never heard of. Creatures I had never heard of. And I, for whatever reason, just wanted to try something different out. I felt like that might be a little more authentic to the game, because I was looking at this and I'm like, man, elves and dwarves and shit barely make up even a fraction of, the types of characters people really play. And so I decided I would be a Clash Tar, which is honestly something I'm not even going to get into describing because it's confusing and weird. and not actually a well-known part of like D&D for most people. Not a race that's popular or common, really. Especially nowadays in 5e. I don't think they canonically have a Clash Star race for 5e. So like it's mostly a person. It's mostly a person with some spiciness added in is what I collect.
Yeah.
So I make my girl, and she's a sorcerer because that's all I wanted to do in D&D. I wanted to cast spells. Carl is very much the kind of person who like wants to go into D&D and wants to beat things to death with the bone of a bigger animal he already slayed.
What can I say? I channel a lot of my personality into my character.
Yeah, he wants to do some physical damage, and sometimes he likes to cast spells. I shouldn't say you never cast spells, but you do have a bigger preference for like some melee-based shit.
It's worth noting that my favorite spellcaster, I think that I've ever played, was Yalkin, who did not have any damaging combat spells at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Damaging or combat is what I should say.
Yeah, no. He was very much a Yalkin was much more of a like practical magic type of wizard.
Yeah, but that Valor-sick
which I actually really respect. But we're not even talking about that right now. We're talking about cast and everything. But anyway, so I come in and they're playing, and first thing Cash does is he kind of tries to explain his world lore, the sovereignty.
Oh no. Oh my god. Oh, that's right. Okay. So actually...
Yeah, you maybe want to give a little background on that.
So the sovereignty, or the sovereign,
yeah,
was the Empire from Warhammer. But actually, no. Because he gave them all different names slightly. So it wasn't actually taken exactly from Warhammer. Because they had different names. But that was it. It was this big place of, like... Euro-Western white humans, and they were racist and didn't like magic, and that was it. And they were big and powerful and evil, but Cash kept trying to depict them like they were good or something. I don't know. That's it. I'm not going to explain, because basically the point is he handed us out sheets of, like, literally packets of paper with, like, probably 20 or 30 pages that explains the entire history of the fucking sovereign.
Yeah, it was a packet of information,
and
it was all like 11-point font, and it was tightly packed, and it was like, okay, there were paragraphs, but each paragraph was a different chapter. He didn't understand the concept of formatting your post so it's readable. He just like info dumped, and then when he was moving on to like a completely different subject, then he would like new paragraph, and it's like there was no indentation. It was really difficult to even look at. It was so intense.
If he was smart enough to understand how footnotes work, I guarantee you there'd be 15 extra pages on that thing.
Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely awful. And as someone who had never played D&D before, let's go back a little bit. We've talked about this. Cash brought in people, for the most part, who had no D&D experience
at all,
and he kind of used that to his advantage because it meant he could get away with just about anything because we were too new, we were too green to know what he was doing made no fucking sense. Like, looking back on it, even though I DM 5e, which is a different system, admittedly, I can tell, even from DMing now and DMing a different system, that he was just fucking off his nutbag. Like, he was not even really playing D&D. He was doing so much homebrewing that he may as well have just had it be a different system. Like, his own fucking system. He didn't even need to call it D&D. It was just like, it was so out there, like, some of the bullshit he pulled, I feel. You're giving a weird one.
What are you doing, James?
Okay, anyway, the point is, so, anyway, then I come in, and my sibling is playing Glorkskin, and Carl is playing Abraxas, a lizard person.
Abraxas was a dragonborn. That is important, because of what happened with the Mimic.
Yeah,
remember the Mimic?
No, I don't remember the Mimic. The only thing I remember about fucking Abraxas is We're about 5 minutes into playing this game
And then
that I've never played before. We come upon a farmhouse. We kill the farmer outside.
We don't. I and Glorkskin.
Yeah, no, I just stay back. I'm like, we should they go into the house, which they are setting on fire, and you find a child inside. Crying, of course. And I'm like, oh my god, this poor child. And that's when Abraxas picks up the child and bites its frontal lobe out.
This is the first 10 minutes of her...
Of me knowing Carl. This is the first 10 minutes.
Yep. Yeah,
that person.
Nihilax.
That's different.
Crazy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, to be fair, like, maybe you have some similarities with that, but, like, I had no idea that wasn't just you as a person.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Point is, her first experience.
Yeah, it was a bad first experience, and then we go on.
A mimic attacks me, I get grabbed by its tongue or something, and then you attack it, and I'm free, and then I breathe fire into the mimic's mouth, which is cool as shit.
Yeah. So that does happen, and then at the end.
Oh, I also had a banner made out of a goblin's skin or
that's
face.
That's the point when I get the big packet, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I set it aside, and I think it's still literally in the same place in my basement. I do not think it's moved.
Really?
Yeah, because like I just had zero interest. I looked at it once, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of work. I think I'm good. Hopefully, it won't ever come up.
Are we ready to talk about Clifford?
Oh, fuck.
Well, I mean, I want to talk about, like, a little bit of the first time I came into D&D, because I mentioned what my character was. I made the Deva.
Real quick.
But what I didn't talk about was, while I was making this, because this was at...
Okay.
Well, I need to use the bathroom. If we talk about Cliffworks, we might need to make that a separate episode.
Okay, how about...
James, not every podcast needs to be an hour sharp.
Well, it's not an hour sharp, Carl.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm not even talking about Cliffworks right now, so I'll keep talking about this. You go to the bathroom, come back, and we'll see where we're at, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I am making my character, and this is the first time I've ever been at Cash's house. There's a handful of other people there. You guys are doing the last of the Saffron battle.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to make my character, and Cash keeps coming over and talking to me and flirting with me, and I'm really not comfortable with it. And at the time, I was like, partially, it's a little bit because he's younger, it's a little bit because he's weird. It's definitely mostly because he's weird, though. And one of the biggest things he keeps saying is how much I remind him of his sister. And
then immediately following that up with hitting on you.
Oh, no. The hitting on me was also coupled with you remind me of my sister. And there was this picture of them over the computer we were using where they were like nose to nose, I think.
No, they were just hugging.
Maybe they were just hugging. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it, and he kept pointing to it, and it really started to make me super uncomfortable because it definitely seemed like the reason he was into me was because I reminded him of his sister, and it just gave me creepy ass vibes, man. I didn't like it. It was super weird, and he would just hit on me, and I fucking hated it, man. And I was in my head, I was just like, why is it always these weird-ass guys that I have no interest in that keep fucking getting crushes on me? Jesus Christ.
He definitely had something going on with me.
Well, yeah, no, that's true. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Because I was the only one in that D&D campaign, which is what we'll call it. Because that was a proper campaign. It lasted a long time. It was horrible. It was grueling. I was the only one there whose decision ever mattered, who had any sway in what direction we went. I was the highest level character. Ever since I killed that satyr, I was the highest level character. Just forever. Always. It never went down from there because they got a shit ton of levels, and then every time someone was introduced, they were just put at a lower level than me. Why? I don't know. I'll let you answer that question. I think it's because Cash liked me. Cash also did this weird thing where at some point during that one castle battle I talked about,
yeah,
fucking Jamie's, like, 15-year-old character got groped by Sockwell, who is, like, 19 at this point, or something, 18 or something. His character casts Magic Hand and gropes her 15-year-old character, and Cash pulls me aside and tells me that Scorpius is aroused by this. And I'm like...
I remember that. He did force, like, arousal and weird shit on people.
He did a lot of shit like that.
It was just really creepy. It's like, oh, this is something that turns you on, and it's like, I don't want that, please, thank you.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. It was just a bunch of shit like that, and then they'd hit on me in weirder ways out of game. I don't know, it was weird. Oh god, James, I saw your mouse moving out the corner of my eye, and I thought it was a fucking fly.
Yeah.
Alright. I think we should talk about Cliffworks.
Hold up.
What do you think?
Yeah,
James?
to be honest, so can I start off with Glock, please? Because that's...
Okay. Well, okay, hang on. Can I give an introduction to what Cliffworks even is as a concept?
Okay.
So, Cliffworks was my first attempt at DMing.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if it was my first attempt, but it was the first one that mattered. I might have done something with, like, only Cash as, like, a solo. Who fucking knows? Point is, this was my first attempt. And Cash really wanted it to have a Warhammer vibe. Because this was taking place in my own world.
There's a fog out there, and it's calling you by name.
And a different planet, really far away. So he wanted his own world, and I was like,
that one time, literally,
make you forget who you are.
in my living room at my mom's house.
But you won't
guys
forget.
were asking me for tips on, like, creating worlds and stuff because I had writing experience.
You got to find your way through
Like, you
that
guys were
fog.
literally writing
Through the
down all the
unknown.
races you should put
There's
in your
only
world
one
and
way.
stuff like that. And I don't know if you remember that, but I do remember that.
I think I remember.
And it was weird because I was super uncomfortable, and I'm gonna be honest. You mentioned that effect that Cash has where you don't always realize that he's the one making you uncomfortable. Like you were the one making me uncomfortable, and looking back on it, that's not what was happening.
He's good. He's very good
Deflects it.
at manipulating the light that comes from somewhere behind and making it seem like it's coming from somewhere else. But whatever. The point is, yeah, this was my first experience actually DMing, and he wanted my world and his world to be the same. But to get out of that, I was like, oh well, okay, my world's on a different planet, really, really, really far away. But then he was like, okay, but then it will still have like the Warhammer. I mean, my Pantheon, which is just the Warhammer Pantheon. And I was like, yeah, sure, but can I add some more? He's like, yeah, sure, or some shit. Yeah, it was some garbage like that. Which, okay, that's the world building and kind of the setup. James, take us into the first character that was made for this
I usually
little thing.
created my own backstories for my characters, as you're supposed to, right? But what I did was, the backstory of Glock Biggs was that he was an aspiring, famous blacksmith goblin, and he lived in a town of goblins, and he opened his
aspiring
his dad started. Like, he's like, oh, my dad wasn't that smart. And
also, wait, it's worth noting that your entire backstory was formatted as like a diary.
yeah. And so what happens is he was writing the biography before he became famous because he knew he was. And what happened is he just looked out his window and all of a sudden the world was gone. Blown up. Or not the world, sorry, no, just his village.
His whole
Yeah.
town.
Why didn't I baby?
Yeah, and
Oh, never
So, yeah, that's how he started. Now, the character had a relationship with a Mr. Screw You McDie.
What? Wait, hang on. Are we not going to talk about the fact that he's literally 1 year old when he's writing this?
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, he is.
Are we not going to mention that at all? Your character was like a year or two old when he was writing this diary and calling his dad retarded and talking about how his town exploded and he wanted to be an aspiring blacksmith.
Well, he first asked, like, hey, how old is, like, teenage years in Goblin? You said, like, yeah, 1 year old.
Maybe, or some shit like that. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently goblins did have, like, a super short lifespan.
Yeah, some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Point is, okay, yeah, so he had this relationship with this other character. Why don't you explain a little bit of this other character? We can all take turns.
So, Screw You McDie was a big Minotaur whose profile picture on his his character sheet was a big smiley face. And Glock Biggs lived in a cage at the waist of Screw You McDie. Now, unbeknownst really what this meant in the time, there's this one time where he's like, time for the punishment chamber, and he stuffed him in his pants. And he didn't really feed him, which I don't know how he like survived at all. Because he never ate anything, or at least Screw You McDie didn't allow him to. Yeah, it was not a fun. I look back and I'm like, wow, that's a shit dude.
Yeah,
that wasn't even the, like, touch of it, though, because I remember he would literally punish you by...
He brought this up.
What?
He just brought that up.
Oh, yeah.
He did?
Yeah, the punishment chamber
My
in
brain
his
didn't
pants.
connect.
Yeah, by grabbing the goblin and shoving him down his pants.
Yeah.
Which I was not aware that this was happening.
Yeah.
I was told, like, a year or two after that actually would occur, that was happening.
Straight up, it was fucked up.
It was really fucked up. And
especially because Cash was 18 at the time, and James was like
15.
Yeah,
14, 15.
15 or some shit.
So it was really fucking creepy.
And yeah, no, it was fucked up. And so, yeah, so his character was named Screw You McDie. And he was a giant minotaur, and he was inspired by the Angry Marines from Warhammer, which are fucking... God, can I talk about the Angry Marines for a second? So the Angry Marines are this, like, fan-made Marine Corps in Warhammer. And their whole point is that they're angry. And I remember we would walk in gym, and he would tell me about these Angry Marines, because he was obsessed with them. And he told me this one story about this one really cool Angry Marine from fan lore about this guy who raped a fucking space elf's mom and then killed her. And then he was later made into a dreadnought, which is like you're basically on your deathbed, but you're in a mech, so you can kill people while you're gonna die. And then the elf chick finds him, and she's going to like avenge him, and she tries to kill him. And he's so pissed off that he explodes out of the deathbed and rapes her and then dies. Or rapes her and kills her and dies, or something. And I'm there, traumatized the entire time he's explaining to me this. In school, surrounded by people, as we walk around the perimeter of the gym. And I remember particularly he does this motion while he's explaining how this psychopath is raping a woman in front of like 2 or 3 people. Like right there, like 2 feet away. And I'm giving him this fucking look. And I'm like, and he has this big grin on his face, like this is the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, wow, that guy's a piece of shit. He's like, he was really angry. I'm like,
Jesus.
You're horrible.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this guy brutally killed his wife. Well,
He's like, oh yeah,
angry, you know?
yeah. I mean, but isn't that so cool? Like he was so angry, he burst out of a dreadnought. I'm like, he's a rapist. It's like, he's angry. It's like, you suck, you know. But like whatever, and also there was another point where he bragged that he had a cult.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't have a fucking cult. He's like, I do. I have a cult. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have a cult. And he's like, I do. I have a cult. I'm charismatic. I can have a cult. And I'm like, no, you don't have a cult. What's the cult? What's the point? What does it do? What are the sounds?
Probably one of our neighbors doing something.
Banging fucking senseless. Fucking, he's like, I can't tell you. I'm like, why not? He's like, well, if you're not going to join the cult, then I can't tell you. I'm like, I'm not joining your stupid cult to find out what the cult is, idiot. And he's like, well, there you go. I'm in a cult. I am. It's true. And I'm like, no, you don't run a cult, jackass. Everyone hates you. And then he has the gall. And one time we're talking about you, James.
Yeah.
And we're having a laugh. And you remember this, but he brags to me by saying that he could gaslight and brainwash you. And that's it.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, I could brainwash James. I bet I could. He's pretty fucking stupid. I bet I could brainwash him. I'm like, that's fucked up. And he's just, I could do it. I could brainwash James.
Yes.
You remember that,
yeah.
James? Yeah. Yeah. So that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
God, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Screwy McDuck, stupid fucking Minotaur.
Yeah.
And he's angry, and he's big, and so can I just start talking about fucking
Yeah.
Cliff Orcs? Let's just get this. Let's
talk about
heal this
Cliff
up.
Orcs and set it up.
Nice and slow. So Cliff Orcs. You might be wondering why it's called. Why we keep calling it Cliff Orcs. So the plot is that we have everyone set up their characters. Reb, you were the.
That was my Ryloka character,
That
which
was
is basically just a type of vampire race.
It's like a
One
vampire.
that's actually totally like.
Yeah, that was.
But like, she was a necromancer. I was actually really excited to play a character who was a little bit evil, play around with that kind of thing. But I guess I have different. Like, it's so funny because I don't think was Scrooge McDuck evil, according to Cash.
According to him, no.
No, but
He acted evilly.
he did.
He was evil.
Yeah.
So we had your
But
character.
apparently, to Cash, being a rapist isn't evil.
And yeah, so at some point, so you got your characters are walking along, and you're walking along a cliff, and it's really, really big cliff, and it's along like a big ocean.
And I wasn't here for this part. I believe Jack and I showed up
Really?
because we met with the others in a cell.
Okay.
We were in a cell.
Don't. You keep spoiling.
I'm not spoiling it. I was
Okay.
just letting you know. We didn't-
Okay, so what happens? God, wow, this drawing is shit. It looks like vomit. Fucking what was I saying? Oh yeah. So they're walking along, and then there's more and more and more skulls until you're basically just walking on skulls, and you see a sign that says "To Fogmore." That may or may not come in handy later. Doesn't matter. This is about Cliff Orcs, not Fogmore. And so you find a sign that says "Go to Fogmore," and everyone's walking, and you're walking on skulls, and nobody seems to care. And then suddenly you hear like the wog sound, annoying fucking sound that the orcs make in Warhammer, which I painfully to my memory demonstrated by screaming at the top of my fucking lung as hard as I could as the orcs came up from below the cliff and charged them and then began to fight them. And so they got in a battle, and somehow in the span of starting game and this other point that I will describe soon as point B, somehow within that span of time, these events occur. And actually, this is why I think you didn't. This is why I thought you didn't come in as late as you think. But we'll see. This is what I remember happening within that span of time. Cash, Screw You McDie, shoves the goblin in his pants as punishment time. Cash rolls a dice and doesn't like the outcome and says, I'm angry enough to where that's a crit. And I go, no, that's not how it works. And they go, I get angry. I roll to intimidate the DM. And I say, you are struck by lightning and take 4d10 of damage. And roll, no, 4d12. And roll, and then he's down to like 2 health, and he's fucking out of game, furious with me. I'm like, you pissed off God. I don't know. You treat him like he's an in-game entity, you get struck with lightning. I don't know, whatever. And this, I'll explain later, because I think this happens now, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
Point is, everyone gets downed by the orcs, and everyone's like, wow, that was dumb. Because nobody, for some reason, there was able to foresee that this was a plot mechanism. And now they have been taken captive by the orcs, and now everyone's in a cell. Where? Good question. But you're in a cell, and everyone's in this wooden building, and you're in a cell, and everyone's trapped, and they're in a cell, and there's orcs, and everyone's in a cell. And this is when I think Reb and Michaela are introduced, and they're in the cell, and there's orcs. And there's an orc in the cell who's lazy or dumb, and there's an orc who's out, and there's like an orc who's out of the cell, and he's stupid and lazy, and he's got a key on him or some shit. He literally has a key like on his belt, like nearly poking through the fucking bars. And I keep telling everyone, there's a key on the orc's belt. And everyone near unanimously decides that the best route to go would be to break either the bars or the walls of the building they're in to escape. Now, the bad part is that I think this is when it's discovered that these are all buildings that are suspended from the side of the cliff. Oh, there's the namesake. They're orcs, they live in the cliff. And so when everyone creates a massive ruination of what used to be this building hanging off of the fucking side of the cliff, that's when it's realized that making a giant hole in this building was not a good idea. But whatever. Everyone is somehow fine. I don't remember why or how. But they sheer force their way through the bars. And what follows...
Actually then, go down a level, and then there's a room full of orcs, right? I think that's what happens next.
Yeah, at some point, you guys are going through these wooden chambers, through ladders and downstairs.
You mentioned that one of these characters is, what is it called? What kind of creature was it?
What creatures?
I thought it
Players?
was yeah.
Okay,
Wasn't he a robot man?
Oh, no, but we'll get to that.
Okay, okay, I got confused. Go ahead.
So, James, that looks like sperm.
It's supposed to be a spoon.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
okay.
why I was writing.
Is James streaming? How can I see this?
Go into... Here, I'll send you.
Yeah, this is just supposed to be visuals while we all talk.
I'll just put a link in the Minecraft chat.
I accidentally closed.
Alright,
I think because I'm trying to close Medibang Pro,
Okay.
Medibang Pro decided it was just going to open the fuck up.
Okay, so people are traveling through these chambers, and it's worth noting that I painstakingly drew out a bunch of different chambers that they would go through. And I painstakingly went through all of the stats and all of the different characters, or all of the different monster stats and all the orc stats with Cash, which is a bad idea, because Cash and also because they were literally one of the players. Whatever. Went through all their stats. And so these orcs had meaningless health, did worthless damage, and never fucking hit. And there were, I want to say, as many orcs, sometimes more, than there were walkable tiles on the battle map. Yeah. There were rooms that had...
literally just dumped a whole bunch of flat,
we had these little discs for proxies that we'd throw down, and we just threw them on the table. And I literally would try to arrange them where they were on squares, but it didn't matter. I didn't care. And every fucking critical hit that somebody did would take out like 10 orcs, because the ones that aren't critical hits, their damage would overflow, and I actually think that can still be a good concept, damage overflow. And that would take out orcs, and if the orcs crit missed, they would take out orcs, and if the orcs missed, they would take out orcs, and sometimes if the orcs hit, they would take out orcs, and orcs were just dying left and right, dropping like fucking mosquitoes. But the thing is, these are Warhammer orcs, and if you don't know what that means, then you're in for a surprise, because at some point, somebody casts Phantasmal Chasm on the ground, which makes the orcs believe and see with their own eyes that there is a chasm on the ground.
Hold on a second. Just hold on a second.
Which
where did I put my thing?
Which in this case is represented as, I thought, now that I think about it, it should have been represented as a whole.
I just had the thing that had my character sheets in it.
It was the black folder.
Oh, here it is. I couldn't figure out where I put it because it blended into the chair. I'm wondering if it was me who cast it.
I think it was you, but here, let me describe real quick.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that.
Now that I think about it, it should have been like a hole in the floorboards that led down all the way down the cliff. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think we did actually just say it looked like an actual chasm, which is going to be weird in a second because, well, below them was nothing. But the thing is,
Phantom Chasm. That was me.
Phantom Chasm. It was you. And because these are Warhammer orcs, if enough orcs believe something to be true, it becomes true. They have the ultimate placebo power. And so, this became a real hole that orcs actually began to fall down. And everyone was shocked, and I was like, yeah, whoa, except for Cash, because he knew what was coming next. And so, yeah. And so now that stage is set, and so a bunch of wacky shit ensues. At one point, I don't remember what, but at one point, Michaela's character casts, like, fucking some kind of lightning bolt, but it doesn't work and they crit miss, and it, like, sparks on them. But because it sparks, the orcs think they're a robot. And so I literally changed them into a Warforged on the spot. And they become a Warforged. And then something weird happens where they get knocked off. They get knocked off the fucking, like, through a hole in the wall. They get exploded out a hole in the wall. But then the orcs believe they can fly, but then they don't. And then he falls down. Her character just falls down and is gone. And so they're continuing, and there's no space. And oh, by the way, Scream McDie eats up 4 squares.
Oh,
by the way.
Like he big boy.
Which is worth noting because most of the doorways were 1 square.
There was an invisible sim on my lawn. Figure out how to fix that.
And so it was horrible. And at some point, also at some point, Honey Boo Boo's mom shows up, who is a gnoll, or something, and then there's a book, and an orc picks it up and reads it, and so all the orcs think he's smart, and so he becomes the most intelligent being on the face of the planet, possibly galaxy, because I gave him like 50 intelligence or some shit. and now he has like super psionic powers, and so he runs away, and now everyone thinks it's the quest to kill this stupid fucking orc, because now it is, because this is like the smartest thing in the universe now or some bullshit. So everyone's trying to chase this orc, and I keep fudging shit so the orc doesn't die. And they're like using mental powers or some shit. And then eventually and they're all the while they're working their way down. Which might seem counterintuitive, which it is. Now that I think about it, you were way closer to the surface when you started than when you stopped. Why I didn't just whatever. Point is, at some point, you all enter this. Everyone enters this room with this massive fucking orc, like this, like fattest orc in all of existence, and he's huge because he eats up like literally like 20 by 20 squares. Like, is horrible. It's it's monstrous. And so he's like, haha, let's have a feast. And then and then all the goblins, which there are goblins there, and they're like slaves, and all the goblins get on their hands and knees and form a massive fucking table. And so then they lower the cage, and then Honey Boo Boo's mom and Michaela's now person, who's no longer a Warforged, are in the cage. Whoa. And they gotta save him. And so then what happens is this orc and Screwy McDie have this long, painful, excruciatingly long, painful dialogue while Rebecca keeps trying to cast a damn spell. And like, yeah, hold on real quick. And then I roleplay the fucking orc some more. Then Cash says something. And then you're like, can I cast my spell yet? And I'm like, hang on, I'm almost done here. And then at some point, something happens. I think it might be a single turn. Who knows? The floor gives out, and everyone falls down into...
I forgot about that.
So everyone falls down into a massive pile of shit. Because the orc has been sitting on a toilet. A fucking toilet. What was that, Red? This is horrible. It wasn't a sewer. They were just in a box full of shit. Literally, like the underside of an outhouse. And Screwy McDie's a famed Morning Star was up on a piece of wood that didn't break, like 1 billion feet in the fucking air. And so he got mad about that and was angry. He's like, I want my fucking Morning Star. And he's like, I should be tall enough. And I'm like, it's literally like 40 feet up there. You're like 10 feet or some shit, but you're not 40 feet. He's like, well, if I stand on my tippy boots. And I'm like, okay, that's like 2 inches. And he's like, okay, but what if I stand on this? That lifts me up. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, okay. And then he's doing this math for like 20 minutes to try and get up there, even though I'm sure somebody had a fucking spell or some shit.
We didn't want fucking help.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't help.
He could have literally thrown James. He literally could have thrown the cage that housed Glock Briggs with Glock in it at the piece of wood to break it and have it fall down. Now I'm thinking about it. But at some point, he pulls enough bullshit to where now he's 40 feet tall and he can grab the fucking Morning Star. And then, and also now you're in a cave because for some reason you were, I guess this was in ground or something. Mm-hmm. And they walk out and there's a small boat. And this is interesting because what happens now is Honey Boo Boo's mom gets so annoying that everyone massacres her. And then Michaela's character, who is a necromancer, uses their bones on with a bullshit like DC 15 or some shit check to turn their bones into a necromantic magic staff that can now talk, and it's cursed, so it talks, and so Honey Boo Boo's mom keeps talking.
And it has an attack that it can use where it shoots butter
out of its mouth, and so everyone loses their mind because they're on this boat for weeks and weeks on end. And I think it's a good idea, for some reason, to demonstrate that they are on this boat for like days and days on end by putting them through the feeling that is being stuck on a boat for days on end by having everyone just sit around and talk, but they have to do it in character.
And also the fucking staff was talking the whole time, driving us insane. And when I finally managed to cast like a spell to silence it so that we all could like just be sane and have a moment, I finally succeeded. After like 5 tries, I kept trying the damn spell, and I kept not succeeding, and I'd try again. This stupid staff would shut the fuck up. And finally it succeeded, and Cash's character, Screw You McDie, repays me by taking his massive, nasty fucking cow tongue and licking my body with it.
Oh.
Like waist to ear, I thought.
Yeah, just fucking disgusting.
Actually, no, it was like shoulder to ear. It was more sensual.
It was awful.
It'd be cartoonish and maybe even funny if it was just this dumb cow licked a person up the side, but it was weirdly sensual and disturbing.
Yeah, it was upsetting. And then Michaela's character actually chose to fail so that they could still hear the staff driving them insane.
No. They didn't choose. They just something
failed.
happened, and because they made it or some shit, they were able to still hear it, and they lost it. So they were like, "I cast water walking." I'm like, "You're gonna walk all the way out there?"
The point where they actually did drop it to the bottom of the sea.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
They did that before they did water walking.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah. They threw it in the bottom.
They threw it in the bottom and realized they could still hear it even down there, telepathically, and they.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's also in Glock.
Yeah, and then Michaela's necromancer. What was that?
Sure that's also the moment Glock castrated himself.
Oh, that is the moment Glock castrated himself.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. But then Michaela's necromancer said, "I cast water walking." And I went, "You're gonna walk to shore." It could be, you don't even know how long that could be. And they go, "I walk out 50 feet under the water." And I'm like, "Okay." And then they're like, "I stab myself in the head." And then their body just goes limp on the fucking water. And then like a second later just sinks down like a Gmod, like fucking ragdoll. It's so stupid. And that's it. Oh wait, no. And then you guys find a pirate boat, and you get on the pirate boat, and everyone there has a weird like French Spanish accent, and then they're like, "So when?" And then everyone's like, "So do you know the nearest shore to get out of this godforsaken ocean?" And the pirates are like, "Ocean. This is a lake," and that's like the cliffhanger.
That's right.
And then you reach Fogmore, and then nothing ever happens. Because that was horrible.
Yeah.
Because that was horrible. And I'm pretty sure that lasted 2 sessions.
You're about to step on Snuggle Friend. You might want to put them on the bed.
Oh, be careful, Snuggle Buddy. Yeah, so that was fucking terrible. That was horrible.
Yeah, there's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That
was just bad. It was so bad. Everything was horrible. And everyone fucking loved it for some reason. Like, everyone who wasn't sane fucking dug it. Or at least said they did.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, Ray and Sockwell and some other blokes were like, "Well, that was pretty fun. I'd love to do that again." Because they were stupid. And so was I. That was bad.
Yeah.
It was a bad idea. And Cash got upset at me out of game because he was like, "Fucking everyone likes your campaign. It's so much better."
I mean, and we did, and it's not because your campaign was good. Sorry, hun. It was just because
So
Cash
shocked
was
it's funny.
awful.
I don't know.
He was so... Cash was just awful, and so anything, literally anything, was an improvement.
I feel bad for fucking Cash's parents. They had to put up with Cash, but then also they had to put up with the screams. Because we were just screaming, like, me and Cash were just screaming loud as fuck.
At each other?
Yeah, no, remember, I would just imitate the orc dog and just scream loud. So, like, if I didn't know what to say or to do anything, I just decided that the best option was to scream. That was my pass. That was like, if I'm gonna pass my turn instead, I'm just gonna cast scream. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. And that is Cliffworks.
Yeah.
And then the next time I played D&D was when we decided to have me DM at my house. I didn't play D&D for like a year after that.
Yeah, and neither did we that first session.
Yeah.
Because all that happened was Michaela and Robert buying pseudo-dragons for 40 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
No!
That wasn't Robert, that was James!
No, I think that was most of us, but yeah,
James
I
bought the
included.
pseudo-dragon.
Wait.
Robert didn't end up with a pseudo-dragon. He looked, but he didn't want to pay the price. But you and frickin' Michaela both got
pseudo-dragons,
and then proceeded to never use them.
Never.
Not
Never.
once. It was so angry because you spent all of your starting money on the pseudo-dragon.
And I had this plot, because this is my character Leroy, who will show up eventually again, because we fucking actually love this one campaign. And Leroy fucking had this plot to kill James's character, because I was hired by Michaela's character, because...
Really?
But I was also trying to kill Michaela's character, because I was hired by James's character.
Yeah, there was this joke going on originally, because when we first started, we didn't know how to take a campaign seriously.
Oh, yeah.
But it dissolved immediately. That kind of shit dissolved because I actually had plot to get to.
I remember there was the one time I was like, hey, yeah, Grillinda, she sleeps naked. Because I don't know, that seems like a reasonable thing anyone
you
can do.
You did a whole bunch of stuff to me that made me angry.
I don't know, I thought that to be, reasonable. A lot of people do that.
Like, your whole character basis was that you had a 16-year-old character that wanted to get fucked.
Yeah, you wanted to get rawed.
Yeah, you literally wanted to... Your quest was to be a 16-year-old girl who got rawed, and I was like, listen, no. First, if you want that to be a character at all, you're gonna have to raise the age to, like, 19 or something. Second off, we're not doing anything graphic. She can want love, she can want to find, like, romance. But just getting fucked a whole bunch, that's totally inappropriate for you at your age, and also the character at her age. And I'm the adult in this situation, who at this point is like 24, and I'm like a 24-year-old, and you're like a 16-year-old, and I'm just like, no, I'm the parental figure here, that doesn't fly.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie, I never thought about it that way when I was that age. Now I look back at
it. You didn't, because... Yeah, but because you were that age, and when you're 16, you think you're grown. And you think it's like, oh, well, what's the fucking difference? And it's like, no, there's a huge difference. Please listen. And so I had to be the voice of reason and the adult in that situation.
Yeah.
Which is why, weirdly enough, like, I don't know. I think we got along and everything the first, year or so we played D&D. But it wasn't until you guys turned, like probably 17 that I think we really started to become friends.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I had this perspective that, okay, I'm essentially playing D&D, but I'm also kind of I don't want to say a babysitter, but, like, I'm a chaperone. I'm chaperoning you guys.
I didn't know you were shorter than me until I was 17 and a half.
Yeah.
Well, you also
keep
forgetting that you're taller than me.
I'm not.
You
jackass. Or whatever. Fine.
Yeah.
Point is, then there was a bunch of other stupid, like, side tangents I'd love to go on about my stupid campaigns that we did with James, like, because I did a lot of solos with James.
Mm-hmm. But we should probably save those for another time. I feel like Cliffworks and everything that happened with Cash kind of demonstrates
Jessica.
why we didn't like
Jessica?
Cash.
Jessica was great. He was cool.
Glance? Dude. I fucking love the part where I screw stuff over with Glance.
There was a lot.
But I think this is a good place to cut this podcast.
Yeah. All right.
Just saying, I think this is
Bye, Colors of Madness DLC for Darkest Dungeon 2012.
Yeah, this has been the Karisen conversation. If you
Bye.
just tell us if you want more content.
This has been Karisen Conversation with your host IzziLoc and